Welcome everybody here to the top 5 plays of the week from Esports U, Clutch Key, helping to bring you those top plays, so let's get things started. In Valorant, it's the Loyola Maryland Greyhounds taking on the Army West Point Black Knights, taken to map number 1 on Icebox, and the Greyhounds winning the pistol round, so it's looking good for them to go up 10-4, but with the Marshal, it's MIB Police from the Black Knights on the case.
At the same time, but that opportunity won't be afforded. D-Sung, though, could turn this into a rifle. Potentially more. MIB Police from the Raptors doing work with the Marshal and might even present a greater threat. Jumping down with the classic. Turn into a right-click hero. A Marshal in hand. And MIB Police secures a 4K. Force round be damned.
A heroic play from MIB Police, but it would be the Black Knights taking Icebox and winning the series 2-0. Let's go to Rocket League with the St. Lawrence Saints and the Bengals of Buffalo State. Down by 1 in game number 3, and the Bengals are looking for that equalizer in the final minute of the game. Luckily, Jesco decides that, yeah, overtime is probably a good thing going into the last minute.
It's hard in order to even think about getting an insurance goal here.
Oh boy, it does feel like SLU as well, just trying to play survival mode. No, maybe they're thriving instead. A good bouncer from Elmo Fingers does get past one defender. Turks moving this across the width of the field. The pinch, finding the midfield here. Good catch from Jesco, putting a shot on target as well. Jesco!
Overtime, it would go in game number 3, and actually the Saints would win overtime, but as for the series, it would be all Buffalo State taking the dub 4-1. Overwatch 2 action with the Great Danes of Albany and the Spartans of UNC Greensboro. Third map on Havana, and the Great Danes want to cap first point in just under a minute. But Magix has a trick up their sleeve, and in fact, they might have more than one.
Out of here, they want to get that kill, and they're doing it. Jesse, they are doing it. Now Magix is back on the field. Lobs Nick's head, oh my god! Showing Volks in the business end of that too. The payload is still being contested, and it's all, oh my.
Not only is Magix won a sniper, but the Spartans had a one of their own in the form of a broom, as the Spartans would go on to win the series 3-0. To League of Legends, where the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern take on the Dukes of James Madison. 12th minute in game number 2, and the Polar Bears want their second dragon. On the Kiana, though, Shomi is about to show us what robbery on the Rift looks like.
Great rotation onto this. They got the first dragon. They are likely to pick up the second here, and the Shomi can somehow make this work.
Well, they're trying, and over the wall, they got a ward and said snipe. And the steal! The steal from Shomi said you only...
Dragon stolen, and even with the kill lead, the Polar Bears also got that stolen away. In the end, Dukes would come out with the dub 2-0. Let's head to Overwatch 2 action with the Aggies of Utah State taking on the Rams of Colorado State. Down a map on Nepal, and the Rams need to make some sort of comeback to force map 3. Well, a crazy team fight leads up to why Death Trap lives up to the tag.
You're going to be in a great position. This Dragon Strike might be able to create some separation. But Cass is just taking heads.
Cass rolls the head of the finish right now. There's the Terror Search. Is he going to find anything? Is the question. Immortality Butte happened to be used. This Death Trap finds a triple. Oh my goodness. Death Trap finds a fourth. He's going to find the team kill. It's now the Rams would force map number 3, but the Aggies were too strong for the rest of the contest, and the Utah State Aggies get the sweep 3-0. To Summoner's Rift in League, where the Aztecs of San Diego State take on the Spartans of San Jose State. Game 1, and all the advantages to the Aztecs 30 minutes in, and Devour on the Caitlyn makes sure it stays that way to march to the base.
Half health. Actually, with the Chaos Storm dropped as well, that might be the go button as everyone follows the rock, and it's not going to be enough off the outset. Goku shut down in the back line, and it's all falling apart for this fight that San Jose chose to take. The ADCs are all together. Piao picked up a kill on the backside. Tabula Rasa's surviving forever. Eventually,
the Aztecs would go on to win game number 1, but something clicks in the Spartans, and San Jose would win the series 2-1. To Valorant with Andromeda taking on the University of Houston Scarlet team. Map number 2 on Fracture, and Andromeda wants to push A site, but Binko is sitting around the corner, and even with little to no utility, Binko just finds a way to make heads roll.
1-for-1 trade, make it 1-for-2 as Slorth takes down Altier, trying to trade for Orchid. Binko now trapped in a corner. They're shooting out the Prowlers, and there's not a lot of places that Binko can go, but now only Slorth being the one peeking. Oh, Binko! What was that?
Binko calls bingo on the ace, and it would be Houston who calls game on Fracture as they win the series 2-0.
To come through, it's just playing aimbot.
And that's it from Top Plays of the Week from Esports U. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, this is Clutch Key signing off.
can't say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. Let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new, so. Oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc. How are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's gonna be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You Jen? All right, we're gonna interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm gonna ask you a couple of very simple questions. Okay. Are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but I think they did it in a really clever way. Mineral area wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something, and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at.
30 is
Okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only like barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here. We have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
No, you know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here. Yeah, that's not his name. I just keep calling him that. Yeah. His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah, that's not John T. Turbo.
Yeah, I get the message that I'm going to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna
jumped into it.
Corner judges go for 1, 2, yeah. He needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Hello everyone and welcome into Esports U. My name is Visionary1. Alongside me bringing you some Valorant action is Vincent. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. I've been preparing all evening for this one. I'm very excited to bring all the action alongside you, my friend.
I certainly am as well. You've been preparing all evening. I have been preparing as much as I could after work. So we put in some time. I would say Vincent probably knows a little bit more going on in between these teams. Of course, USF and Bronco Esports going at it today for the chance to presumably play the favorites Fisher in the finals. That match, of course, being played off stream right now. Definitely excited to see who's going to be able to maybe push Fisher in this best of 5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting just to see who comes out on top, because I do think that this side, I'm glad we got this side of the bracket, because this is the matchup with the most question marks going into it. I think that whilst there's certainly a favorite here, and we'll talk about who that is and what that looks like in a minute, both the teams could realistically take this away. And the fact that I don't necessarily know what all their map pulls look like and how strong it is makes it all the more big question marks, right? On who is going to be taking this, who is not, and all of those types of things. What I do know, though, is that I got to watch that matchup from USF last week, and they really did show themselves to be a far better team than Pace was in that series. And though it was relatively close, they looked dominant. So I'm very excited to see what USF have to bring, as they've been a program just in general that's been stepping up these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job so far, of course, through their bracket run. And you mentioned the one thing that we were talking about the green room the most, right? The best of 5. We get to see a ton of Icebox Ascent in Haven being played in College Valorant. Well, guess what? Best of 5, you have to expand that map pool. You have to have developed strats. You might have to rotate some agents that you don't typically play, especially on a map like Fracture getting brought in tonight, where you're going to basically have to run that Breach. You're probably going to run a KJ alongside it as well, unless you like to be a rat and play Cypher, which obviously there's skill to that. But there's always those small variations in comps and some agents that you don't typically see brought out for every map being brought out for maps like Fracture. So we're going to go ahead and show you those 5 maps we're going to potentially be running through tonight. But we're going to start out on Fracture. So we're seeing the Breaches already. We're seeing the Killjoys. I can't really say we're surprised by either of those picks. And Brimmy with the Snippy, always going to be there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say the only map that you are almost guaranteed to see a Brimstone on at this point is Fracture. So I don't know if I've told you my feelings about Fracture, but I've like gone in a full circle of, at first I didn't like it, then I'm like, okay, this is kind of chaotic, but it's cool. And then now, as there's been time to get some strategies involved, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm down with this. And I think it's going to be interesting. This is really going to be a tone setter. This is a pick by USF, by the way. So I also think it's going to be maybe not determinant of the rest of the series, but I think that this will set the tone for it, especially as we have a very different look on the on one side for Cal Poly Pomona. Actually, the fact that they're running a Fade is a bit surprising. Typically, I feel like Fade has kind of left the norm here.
She definitely has, but there's still very efficient lineups that you can use over, especially on B site, right? Like there's such high angles that kind of you can get those unexpected haunts kind of coming out, maybe get a cheeky spot here or there. Honestly, though, it's ever since the Prowler nerf, it's been really hard to justify running her over a Sova, and we know that this is one of Sova's weakest maps. So it kind of makes sense you always see the Breach here in those flash agents as well. I mean, with a double duelist coming out from the other side, I mean, KO would have some viability here as well. It really just comes down to, at the end of the day, though, we have to remember these are college students, right? Like, it's class first. And I would much rather see somebody who they're comfortable on, like USF bringing out the double duelist, versus maybe bringing a Fade that you're not completely confident in.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you touched on the KO, because that's what I feel like is typically going to be seen more often. We don't see it at all in this matchup. Nonetheless, we're getting things underway, and I mean, TKY on that Jet, double duelist, yes, but TKY was phenomenal in the quarterfinal matchup that we watched last week, so I would expect for them to continue to be showing that strength, and that's probably going to be a key factor for USF and a potential victory here tonight.
Well, I heard he was memeing it up a little bit too, baiting his team, then getting 4Ks, going for knives. So we're definitely in for an interesting one, to say the least, as the smoke from Brimstone goes ahead and vanishes. Rodon's going to have an idea that there's people there, but he got fault lined right off the rip. So he's known that they've been B main this entire time. Now, are we going to see that rotate? Because Fade is just kind of lurking around A main right now, and I'm kind of surprised to see, of course, Broncos Esports come out and default this hard on a pistol round, especially on Fracture, where the defenders have to take space instead of the offense having to take space.
Well, I actually think that's why it makes a lot of sense, right? Is that you're waiting for the defense to try and take some space and hoping that you can then punish them. They haven't been given that opportunity, though, and that's where the strategy, I wouldn't say it's weak, but it can be difficult. Oh, that paint shell perfectly splitting up the opposition as the entry towards the site comes in, but that said, the sky smoked, making it difficult to take the fights, and, well, what fights they do take, they lose. USF unsuccessful in finding anything before the spike goes down.
Now, Chipotle guy's got a beautiful work here, gonna get 1 or 2 with the assist from the Boombot, and it's looking like everybody is dropping. That is just excellent execution, and well, I kind of am surprised by the default, and it ends up working out really well there as they just fludged sight, and we thought Shummus was going to get a ton of value out of those paint shells. Ended up getting nothing.
I mean, it wasn't nothing per se. It just wasn't it wasn't enough damage to really chip them down to where the pistols are going to be extra effective. It did split off the players. Only 2 got forward, and then 1 player had to fall back, and that's great if there's sight lines to work from. But unfortunately, the Sky Smoke's perfectly placed, and it's all over. So, with that, South Florida working from behind at this point. It'll be the buy, as you would expect, from Cal Poly. And there's little to do, or at least a little to work with in the purchase department for USF.
I mean, classic right click is the best thing since sliced bread. So you know what? Maybe we find some utility here. And finally, Rodon gets checked there and is just going to get taken down by a horde of Counter-Strike guns as well as some recon guns. Definitely love seeing the Spectres and seeing, of course, those new skins making its appearance here on College Valorant. As we're going to get the classic spray through the smokes, just trying to find some chip damage here. Maybe make somebody buy some shields again. It's actually going to be a great paint shell, though. It's going to get a little bit damage off, some chip damage done. And Wright's actually going to find Brimstone there as well, so no extra smokes. As Kate's going to find 4. Going for the ace is going to be taken by Mikey. And a predictable anti-eco one by, of course, Broncos Esports.
The key is that only 1 player goes down as well. That makes it so that this bonus purchase, as we like to call it, is going to be a lot more effective than it would otherwise have been. You're going to have a couple of rifles alongside those 3 Spectres, and from there, we'll see what CPP are looking to do. At the same time, I want to see something different than we saw in that pistol round from USF. You made a great point, and I want to go back to it. That is, on Fracture, as the defenders, you're often forced to take space and take positioning in a way that normally the attackers have to. We haven't seen that yet. We need to start seeing a little bit of that.
I mean, you're playing with gun advantage on this map, but there's the peak. You get 1, you get traded instantly. So this B main pressure has been pretty much a mainstay for CPP so far. They've done a real good job of just defaulting this out, and you get a trade on your bonus. You're definitely happy with that as TKY finally gets it going, finally takes down that Fade Lurk over towards the A site. So the rest of the team starting to kind of head in that direction. It's going to be interesting because no smokes have been used yet. So that Sky Smoke still obviously available. That Brimstone sightline is going to be cut off. And we're going to see if they push out Rafters and maybe get aggressed on, or if they're going to have to fall back. It's going to be interesting here with this site hit. Just waiting and waiting to hit. So TKY is going to have to do some most here versus 3.
1 enemy remaining.
That's one way to do it. Make it a second way to do it. TKY coming out. Beautiful shots coming down. 4K for them. Just demolishes everybody down the line. And you mentioned how great it was on the anti-eco only losing 1. Well, look at USF right now. Only losing 1 here on their buy. That's definitely massive as well. TKY has the Blade Storm already, so they get to give up the gun for free. That's great value right there out against the eco.
Listen, you know I'm a value individual, okay? I do love my good value bargain bin purchases. I'm a Walmart shopper. I'm not afraid to say it. With that being said, got to see something, continuation rather, here for USF. It's not, I mean, it is good, but it's not good enough to just win that 1 round. You need to be able to find just more than 1. You have to put together multiple rounds in a row in order to start to build up your economy and get into a position where you can at least have some solidification. With that said, they've gathered a lot of information already. Rolling Thunder into the site, though, and I think that Cal Poly should be able to get the point.
I mean, if TKY and Chumas have anything to say about it, they won't, but Neo finds 2 of their own. The Blade Storm's not going to land, and Blazer gets 2 right there. Wright gets 1. Blazer gets 1 with the Molly right there. The Incendiary doing some work, as now it's a 1v2. USF just kind of collapses on the retake, ends up taking a ton of that space quickly. His Game Store actually might have the read on this. Everybody else rotating to A as he silently walks back up B main, and Wright is gone. He's completely gone. He is running dish right now, going in that direction. This might be one of the biggest catches of the century if they can play it right. The hardest part is peeking main is definitely going to be the way to go here to see if you can pick off Blazer, but Wright is going to be there to watch it as well. And, you know, honestly, with discovering no one so far, you have 25 seconds. Just go back B. You don't have to take these fights yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but also the problem is, how is Game Store meant to know all of that information?
Yeah.
Like, should have an idea, I would agree, but it's difficult in the moment. You don't know what audio's been heard. It's easy when we can see the map and know what's going on.
A little bit. It's a little bit easier.
You know, when you have the cheat codes, it's pretty simple. But Nonetheless, the point being here is that 2 rounds in a row. That's what I was asking for, and it's been delivered. Operator here for TKY as well. Something that was incredibly effective back in the quarterfinal game that I got to see. And so we're going to be looking to that once again. It's actually going to be over here towards A main, and that's that space requirement that we were talking about. Chipotle about to be in trouble. They swing into this crosshair, but oh no! It's all gone wrong for TKY.
Oh, it went wrong for him. You get the operator removed. That's huge, right? But a little bit of an overheat there for Chipotle guy, just essentially just dry peeking that breach. It's unfortunate as this lurk is going to be found almost immediately with the alarm bot. Going up against those sheriffs, you have to be careful not to play the angles that are really commonly held. So really good job right there, just to hold back by Rodon as well. Just be like, hey, I'm just going to get my quick shoulder peek, get a couple shots off, do some chip damage. I'm falling back as everybody kind of rotates here, of course, back to the A site. And the other interesting thing I want to note is the other side of the map is exclusively not being used by CCP so far at all, Vincent. And I think that's a missed opportunity because the defenses are getting mightily comfortable just holding these angles.
That they are. They need to figure out a way to start to put on that pressure. That said, okay, I'm not even going to address how that happened. Neo just free through into the site. Showstopper could have been a little bit better. The shot from Blazer, but it's another trade, and this is very clearly now in the favor of Cal Poly. They have the positioning, they have the plant, and they have a lockdown as well. Neo wants to put that out and will do so.
Satchel out.
I have to question as Game Store finds 2 there. Why are you holding the operator in the smoke? Like
reasons.
I mean, I understand that you're playing breach. You probably want to get a flash off, see if you can find 2 just because of the long reload time that you have shot after shot. But that doesn't make sense to me, right? You have a great post plant. You have the lockdown. You have the KJ utility right there. You have the lockdown applied, right? Why aren't you playing a further angle knowing that lockdown can get spammed and you're going to have to force them to push potentially through that smoke?
You know, it's a valid question. I don't know what the thought process was. What I do know is they're just going to have to deal with the outcome here. And I like this aggression. Time to get a forward position. And that nade, it's actually going to do a lot of damage. Rather, did a lot of damage. A little armor taken off. Chumis with the double kill. And meanwhile, the Aftershock at least bringing one back to what is near even. And the spike recovered, but it's a 2-on-3. And it's not even as if this A side is free and open. There's still a player here. It's Rodon.
Yeah, Turret is watching Dish, and I think we should have known by now that push is not happening. That's going to be a great Nano Swarm to get a little chip damage as well. Rodon going to get a beautiful shoulder peek right there. Chipotle is actually going to win this once again, though. 8 HP remaining in a 2v1. The team collapsing, of course. There's still 56 seconds of this round. You could theoretically rotate here in this shoulder peek. Chipotle, what?
That was incredible. With Chumis down, now there's a real chance for victory here in the Nightfall. Going to be invested just to gather the information. That pushes right back far enough that the plant can go down, and there's no Aftershock. There's just a flashpoint and a fault line available here for right. USF desperately would love to pick this round up, but the shots have already been great from Chipotle guy.
I mean, he clearly had double meat in his burrito today. That's all I'm saying. If he loves Chipotle that much, it is showing out right now. Is this 1v1 just the shoulder peaks, a little movement back and forth as right has to clear out every angle. It's always so difficult to be in this position knowing where they probably are. And of course, it's Chipotle guy landing the headshot. And the craziest part is right had the first shot, the first swing. Unfortunately, fired while he was still strafing to the right. The shot's inaccurate. And somehow Chipotle guy clutches on 8 HP.
Yeah, great reaction time there from Chipotle as well. That's really what it comes down to, just being able to react fast enough to hit that shot, and does so. It's Cal Poly setting themselves up and putting themselves firmly back in the lead of this one. South Florida, they had those 2 rounds in a row. Great. The bonus round, you expect to win that. Another gun round right afterward, sure, but unfortunately, TKY overheating a little bit, taking that fight, losing out on the pistol. And then Neo with the follow-up 2 frags just makes it look so easy for Cal Poly, and they take advantage of that round and the following with the 1v2.
Some early pressure towards A here as well, kind of switching it up, still not using the opposite side of the map at all, but they are willing to at least switch the sites that they are aggressing on off the rip. Obviously, the Aftershock's going to cause a little bit of damage. TKY has to get out of there. gets a little bit of chip damage on their own as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this kind of progresses. The whole site is smoked right now. There's a lot, and Neo's going to be able to find one right on 3 HP. Gets a flash on 3 different members right there of CPP, but unfortunately not able to find the killing blow. This Game Store not able to get anything right there. Blazer finding one. Trades abound as Chipotle guy stays alive. That's really the key for me so far, is seeing that matchup of Chipotle guy versus TKY.
Yeah, it's not a matchup that I think we necessarily expected to see. You don't always expect for the duelist to be mainly dealing with the likes of, I mean, an initiator. Like, that doesn't always happen regularly. You're going to be seeing the duelist v duelist pretty much, but Chipotle guy 10-3 right now. Not even necessarily having to play this Fade as an initiator. It's more like a duelist light, maybe, because they're not in first. They're not being the point of the attack, but they are in those clutch scenarios constantly.
Yeah, and I have to give a shout out to my smoke mains out there. Game Store right now with 11 assists already on Brimstone. You love to see that. You'll love to see that. They are getting the value out of pushing the smokes, and that is a value out of a beautiful float line right there, setting up TKY, and that's something I want to see more of. Get your initiators on board to help support your duelists, because you're running 2 of them. You have to run one on one site, but you should always have a breach basically tied to one at the hip. As the turret's going to go down, it's looking like plant is inevitable, but a 5v4 retake, especially with members that are pretty darn hurt, and of course the orbital strike being used as well. But Neo's just a rat lurking in the smoke, going to find one and get traded out. We're going to see, wow, the Rolling Thunder being committed here as well. USF really looking to commit to this push.
Yeah, but there's still some defensive utility. This orbital strike, unfortunately, Game Store going down instantly thereafter is the problem. Would have been probably winnable if Game Store had found that kill, but not to be. Pretty large investment, especially with that Rolling Thunder and the Orbital Strike. Both of those are high-value ultimates for this map in particular. You know, typically, you know, the Orbital Strike's always going to be valuable, but that Rolling Thunder, it can be good or better. It's better on this map. And the positioning in which it can be used, clearing out pretty much the entirety of the site first, and then the orbital strike thereafter to deny the spike plant even further. It's all very good from USF using those ultimates effectively.
Yeah, and it just comes down to, you know, kind of a wombo combo. And if you trust your initiator and your Brimstone to go ahead and get that value out of it, you have to run it, essentially. It's not worth not doing it, as TKY is looking to get aggressive again as right flashes out. They are pushing once again into a spawn. And we still, finally, we see one member lurking on Dish. The opposite side, the north side of the map, is in fact being used. You love to see it.
But look at this. There's adjustments from Cal Poly as well. They have tried to answer this call. Look at all the audio cues. Chipotle's hearing what's going on, knows that there's a rotation with that frag going out over towards the B site, and that means that they can get a little bit of positioning, a forward position, in fact. And with Neo getting that frag now, there's nowhere to go. USF, they've got to hold 2 sites, but they've got 3 players to do it. The A site wide open.
It is wide open spaces right now. You're going to see the Nanoswarm come out as well. Plant going down for Game Store. Going to be holding that down. Chipotle guy's going to get a frag on Chumis, and this is almost looking done in Chipotle guy. How do you keep hitting these? My brother in Christ. I think that's the first headshot he hasn't hitting right there, and oh my, it's a wallbang.
One thing that I'm noticing, and you ask how, right? Well, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of proactive responses to when Chipotle guy is in those positions. Like, you're allowing so many of 1v1s, essentially, and clearly Chipotle guy is just hitting the shot. So what you need to do, if you're USF, is you have to figure out a way to get into these positions where you're taking fights that aren't on his terms. You got to take the fights whenever you have 2 players available. One to probably die and 1 to trade. And I mean, that's worst case scenario, but you know, it is what it is.
At this point, that's best case scenario.
Yeah,
if you're losing 3 in 1v1s, I would much rather trade one out and actually get Chipotle removed from the field.
Fair enough.
That's best case scenario right now, is you trade out and kill Chipotle, because that seems to be the key in all of these rounds. Is honestly, if you kill Chipotle, you kind of have a chance, because he always seems to be one of the last ones alive. playing their lives very smart as a fade, as that ability to get intel as the clock ticks down and you're getting late in those post plants. It's very important to have, right? So not only are they fragging out, they're also playing extremely smart, and that's something I really want to highlight. And Game Store racking up another assist, 3, 5, and 12. Smoke mains rejoice.
Another note that I wanted to pick up as well is Neo has really done a great job of being in maybe weird positions as a Killjoy, sort of taking over the role. I feel like that normally the likes of a Fade might be playing, but has been so fantastic in doing so. Consistently performing, sometimes the first in even, and hitting those shots. Here's a bit of a different look. It's two approaches. One from the north, one from the south. Classic look that we've seen before to attack the B site. And I like the pace change for Cal Poly. It gets them on the site, and now they got ults to defend it.
Yeah, they certainly do, as Neo's going to find another one. You've sung his praises earlier as TKY getting in there. And it's just going to be a massacre onto site once again. Of course, that's against an eco, right? So it's all not doom and gloom yet. But I really like how CPP is really starting to integrate the north side of the map into their pushes, right? We saw them completely avoid it for the first 5 rounds. And now, hey, we're going to split push and we're going to rush arcade with our strong stack and send our weak side down B main and see kind of what kind of value we can get out of that. Obviously, free side plant against an eco, very smart, knowing that the rest of the team's probably going to be flanking, playing together. They clean everything up, but it's just the little nuances the CPP is throwing in on this fracture map right now. USF just doesn't have a good counter for it yet. TKY might have that answer with some opening space on B main with that operator.
Big opening, big define. I mean, TKY, we mentioned that we would most likely be seeing some reliance on them. By the way, another nuance here for Cal Poly is that, you know, we did see the timeout from USF, and they immediately, CPP changed their pace, looked to find something different. 2 players detained. If there's an aggressive maneuver here, that could be a bit dangerous. It looks like they're just going to leave it alone, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like the patience, especially when you have the Nightmare just sitting there, right? You just go ahead and throw that out, get everything you need, and a late Killjoy ultimate coming out the other way just to kind of clear out sight. And as you can hear, everybody's still deafened. Oh, all the ultis are being popped in the world right now, but that is a great, again, the Rolling Thunder from the bottom of the site to clear this out. Right only has 5 HP, taken down by Cake. Here's another opportunity, of course, to even delay the plants even further as Game Store is going to find another one. Of course, you see the concussion coming out, and it's just going to be Rabs, and we're going to see Rodon trying to save here. After that aftershock got great value, and just letting the breach lurk under, even though the lockdown is there. Who cares? We have the utility to deal with this. Worked out beautifully.
Yeah, that's good, just good coordination, right? Cal Poly making sure to calm where the spike's being planted and having a lineup from lower there to ensure that the aftershock can get value, make sure that nobody can get the defuse whilst that lockdown was coming through. And look at the tragedy of that round. How many ults were used? Like 3? Yeah, I think 2 or 3, and none of them really got value, unfortunately. Now, Wright is walking up to another Rolling Thunder, but at that point, it doesn't matter. It's just you lost out. You got to reset, try again. There's only one player here at B, and they're not even really here. They're in arcade. This site is wide open for the Broncos to take.
And taken it is right now as TKY gets some chip damage, but also falls on his own down to 27 HP on the rope currently. Look at his swing, gonna find a frag, get traded out immediately by Chipotle guy. And look at this push from Arcade, the reclaim, and we're gonna see the same strat that was used, of course, against them right there, as they actually throw it on main, and it's a great retake right there by USF. Not the greatest weaponry, but very smart take, able to use dish, come back, and see what you can get. But with the spike being halved, is this going to delay long enough? It definitely isn't.
Yeah, there's plenty of time on that one. USF, a 4th round on the board, 8-4, going to be the halftime scoreline. And you know what? Good resurgence there from USF. It was getting out of hand. It was. But they picked up the final round. It could have been better, though, nonetheless. Here we go, moving into that second half. One thing that I wanted to mention before we make that move, though, is that for USF in that last round, I don't even think it was necessarily all about the positioning. Yeah, that was good. It was just being unpredictable. being in a position that I don't think Cal Poly were expecting, and that's what I want to see a little bit more of on their attack. Don't be predictable if you're USF, because clearly Cal Poly, they've put in some work on this map. Despite the fact that USF have looked okay, this is still Cal Poly's pick.
Please tell me we're going to see 5 running down rope after they pinch nothing. Just like do me a favor, please, as we see this super aggressive push out towards the north side of the map. Unfortunately, no, it's going to be members falling back onto the A site, securing orbs and things of that nature. Obviously, the smart play, not exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see 5 on rope and see if that could work out. Much like it didn't in VCT, of course. Is Cake going to be taken down right here by Right? Opening frag found, dash onto site. Fault line going to be used as well, but Chipotle, finally somebody's able to trade Chipotle out as USF starts storming the site 3v2, and it's looking like Plant's going to go down as well.
Yeah, but this is a really winnable retake. Gonna have time to get back in here.
Launching smoke.
Neo getting that frag, equalizes things. 2-on-2, game store close range. That classic works well in that position. It's the longer range that the Ghost really does find its value. An additional smoke down. That's the beauty of having game store still alive. The most, oh my goodness, no way, Chumas. Just randoms them through the smoke. One of them obviously shooting, but are you kidding me?
Check his PC. This isn't normal. I believe they have word.exe downloaded right now because, hello? Obviously bullet trails are available on 1, but the classic is unreliable from beyond 5 meters and actually telling you where someone is because sometimes it can't seem like it can shoot straight. That, you know, just finding 2 right there through the smoke, that's huge for USF right now. You get a giant anti-eco right here as well. Bulldogs invested all the way up, a Phantom as well, so they're looking to try to hold on to these guns, and that's going to be a beautiful fault line and just a push galore right now. Look at these 3 just trying to duke it out. Util is being dumped all over the place, and Cake and Neo are able to find some value out of it with 2 trades going back the other way. 2 members low on both sides. Actually, make that 3 as TKY. What a snapshot onto Neo to at least save a life.
Yeah, but you got to think about the way that this round started. The actual difference in weaponry at the beginning was huge, and it was very heavily favored to USF. The fact that it's so close now is a bit disturbing, maybe the right word. We'll have to see if they can gather anything to save CPP, but in the meantime, the A side is overtaken, overwhelmed, and spiked down. Now the recollection of those weapons that have been dropped. The question then becomes, do you go for it? And I think you do if you're Cal Poly. And it seems as if Chipotle guy at least agreeing with me.
Yeah, full yellow. And you absolutely go for this here because you know Chumas is low. You already have that knowledge. And especially with still having, of course, the Prowlers as well. I mean, you just take this fight and try to remove as much eco as you possibly can, but Chuma's going to land a great shot. Chipotle guy going to land one as well, but so low right now. And finally, Chipotle guy loses a clutch. TKY, the great crosshair placement, going to catch the player, and you just reduced a full Bulldog. I mean, 1 Spectre invested, 3 Bulldogs invested, 1 Phantom invested. All you take from that round is that Phantom. And of course, Cake did buy a Spectre the last round, which was a little scuff by situation going on right now, but you definitely have more rifles on the side of CPP than you do on USF.
Yeah, and you know, whilst I certainly don't agree with the idea that, you know, you have a bit of uneven money, you're right, absolutely true that CPP get the best of that situation. They find 4 kills in a round where really 2 would have been ideal. I mean, 4 is just out of this world, out of the ballpark as they knocked it. It's a big round, especially for USF. They'd love to win this round, but it seems unlikely with the weaponry. But we know how that goes. Outcomes on paper never the same as in reality.
Oh, that's why we don't play Valorant games on paper, because everything would be, you know, 2-1 and then rounds traded back and forth, and that would be it. Based off theory of how the guns are working. Although, Fault Line not going to find anything. Chuma is going to get a nice shot to open it up for USF. Now, this the Aftershock going to push Neo into an awkward position as well as a great Nano Swarm, and Chuma is going to be able to pick up that as well. On the other side, getting the Guardian off the dead body. And now we're talking about USF just completely collapsing on site. We're talking about the gun advantage. That is vanished.
Yeah, the gun advantage is irrelevant when you have the man advantage. And that's been had in that's times 3, actually, with Blazer. Finding another shot with the Sheriffs. These are simply too good. Rodan as well. Chipotle running the other way, but is going to be found, I think, on rotation almost certainly here in a moment. And yeah, that'll be it. It wasn't so much on rotation, just with the bot. But either way, USF, they're right back into this thing. They are nearly approaching the tied game mark, and they could do it right here and right now. But I want to just talk about how impressive it is to, normally you don't win a bonus round, right? You certainly don't win a bonus round after you lose 4 players in the anti-eco. You typically just chalk that up, buy the next, and then fight for the economy there. USF just, they made it happen. Didn't matter what weapons they had.
And I mean, we're seeing the difference in the 2 paces of the teams as well, right? Like, I mean, CPP was very default heavy, a little bit slower, more methodical, and USF just doesn't care. They continue to push, they continue to run it down as Blazer is able to find one here as well, just trying to trap USF in their spawn. Obviously, there's still a way to get out of this on the rope as well. So everybody is just popping out right now. And CPP looking, are we going to get back-to-back thrifties?
Seems like that's a reality that almost is certain at this point, considering it's 2-on-4 and the spike is down in enemy territory, rather in enemy hands. The territory was at one time USF's, but it's been taken. Now they have to go back behind the lines. TKY, though, who else do you want but them in this situation?
You got to get 4, though. The hunt coming out. So many things can go wrong for TKY here as find one, start to isolate, and no, Neo is going to find the value. Back-to-back thrifties coming out, and that is just beautiful right there from CPP to kind of shut down the momentum that USF started to build, right? Like, okay, we lost the bonus. How do we respond? We buy 5 sheriffs, we rush, we collapse, we dump util, we find a way to win.
So you said shut down the momentum. That's the thing, though. They haven't done that. They've just started that process, and the reason that it's only just a start is because of how good that last round was from USF. They made sure to keep 4 players alive in what they barely had invested in. So they got plenty of money. They got everything into this one, Visionary. It's ridiculous.
They also have, the beautiful showstopper coming out right now. Are you going to be able to find any value with it? Nobody's actually on site. And just a turret. Okay, let's go ahead. We didn't blow up the turret either, so that's still going to live and get a little bit of value. I think you would just shoot that if the timer's running down, as right is just going to spam backwards as they continue to get bullied by the Prowlers. Good blind coming out. Going to get 3 here as well. Spam coming through the door. We have to remember, bomb is already down. You also have the orbital strike. You have the cascading killjoys over each other. There is so much util being dumped all over the place right now, and somehow CPP is standing on top.
Double lockdown, double destroyed as well, but that is a molly that's in position. Game Store has to go through that. Can't tap on that spike. Still 2-on-3, but Blazer, it's the first shot. Now requirement for Right to deliver. 80 health, little armor, and Game Store has the angle. It's Cal Poly Pomona to find the round as the Broncos, they were on the cusp of losing their lead, but now they've solidified it back to 3.
It was looking a little testy there after you lose the bonus, but like I said, I feel like college Valorant is so momentum based, and you're completely right. Your point about the economy and kind of not busting that, totally correct in every way possible, right? But it feels like ebbs and flows in college Valorant are a little bit more harsh than in the professional game. So you break them on a thrifty after they get the bonus round. I feel like that breaks the spirit, that breaks the ego just a little bit, right? You have to get down to the id and really pull yourself back. And so with that happening, obviously still a good enough buy coming out from USF to do damage here. But I mean, at this point, I feel like the gloves are off and we're just throwing haymakers at each other. Like another rush with the stim beacon down the site. We're going to see, of course, actually the great blast packs coming out to destroy the nanoswarms as well. It's just going to be a turret and Neo to hold this down. As one is actually pushed out of sight. Neo's going to find one. Game Store finds a second. There's both your duelists gone. All I have to say about that is good luck getting onto site and finding that space.
I was going to say that Neo has been so fantastic on the defensive.
Sorry, kid.
Whether it's actually on the offense or the defense. That being said, things have been turned on their head. It's back to another 1-on-1.
Spike planted.
Chipotle once again finding time to deliver double kills. Requirement, though, is 3. HP relatively healthy. Oh no, the timing on the pickup of the utility. Can't pull out your ability at that point. This is what I call a no-nade zone. It's the gun out, and he's found the frag. Oh my goodness, Chipotle guy.
How do you keep winning these? You can't keep getting away with it.
No.
You peek with your util out. You live with 16 HP. And then you just smartly swing around. Yeah, 1,000,000% should have been dead.
That man is a dead man walking, I'm telling you.
No, he's a live man walking, and he's still finding ways to clutch rounds. That's unkillable Chipotle guy. The biggest chain in America for burritos. There you go. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Put some respect on Chipotle guy's name.
That's right. I hope that Chipotle guy actually like works at Chipotle or something. Like that would make my day. I'll be saddened if not. Either way. Oh, this is a Blade Storm that is simply unstoppable. TKY decided right at the beginning of that round, hey, I'm just opening the pick here at the site. A is mine. You can't have it.
And I mean, Neo's done such a good job of delaying previously that, you know, getting him off just makes it so much easier to take that site, of course. Obviously, Killjoy utility is going to delay you regardless, but with the way Neo has been playing and been able to find 1-2 frags, is right, just kind of isolated here. That's a great stun. And it's just trades back and forth now as we try to progress back onto the site. The flank coming through. 2 members here, 1 member on sand right now. But here comes the util dump once again. Chipotle guy and Game Store combine. Remove 2. Do they know that they're hidden? Of course. Over the top. Well, there's a smoke there at least. The Sky Smoke going to get the job done, as well as Game Store. Secures an orbital strike as well. So any kind of push, any kind of value that you can find potentially off of a fault line, possibly, if you can find 2 orbs or 2 kills next round here, Cake, I mean, it's going to be extremely deadly for CPP. And 3 ults compared to 2, although both of them combo pretty well.
I want to go back to something you mentioned because it's actually turned into a bit of an interesting talking point because, well, you talked about the mental and said, well, you know, the mental of these college players, maybe not so stalwart as the likes of a professional. I think that's reasonable. And we've yet to see USF win a round ever since that Thrifty loss. Don't know how much of that is the mental, but what I do know is that Cal Poly have control of this game, 1 round away from taking the first map of this best-of-5 series.
And 1 map. I mean, it's important, right? Because maybe you're eliminating the weakest map pool off just by getting yourself a win, as we're going to go ahead and see. Oh my, okay. Little late arcade push going to get some value there. Orbital strike used to push them back off of sight. And Plant's going to go down and be secured, and it's a 5v3 now. Orbital strike, of course, on the other side, still available to try to find some value. I don't think it's going to be burned this round, though, knowing that you still have 4 to play with afterwards.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to hang on to that. And for the time being, these actually don't even look like full investments. This is just looking for exit frags, maybe.
Headshot.
First shot, going to connect it. Cake will get the one before falling back. Oh, poor Game Store. Just hit with a boatload of utility. It'll be Rodan with the triple kill to get the 8th round for South Florida. But nonetheless, still a commanding lead at this juncture for Cal Poly. They've got 4 more rounds to work with, but all of that is sort of not going to matter, I think, if they just pull out all these ultimates and win here.
Yeah, I mean, you have a great wombo combo, of course, with the Showstopper and the Rolling Thunder. You could also use the Orbital Strike combined with that just to try to get them off of sight, off the plant. You could find a ton of value there. It's dangerous, right? So USF have to play a picture-perfect round and just avoid these ultimates and see if they can nullify the value that's been given out of them. And TKY, again, aggressive sand push. Nobody playing on site once again. Full retake. Look at 3 just rushing for Dish right now. This is going to be extremely curious to see how this plays out because this is another new look that we've seen out of CPP.
This makes so much sense when you have all these ultimates. If you have these to work with, then why take these fights early? Because you can just pull them all out right now. Orbital Strike, Showstopper, as well as the Rolling Thunder, but the Showstopper gets counterfeited by its Aftershock right coming alive, but Game Store with 2, Rodan the same, but the 1v2 required, and that will be unheard of. 12 rounds now will be 13 as Cal Poly Pomona, the Broncos, They get their 13th, and they get the first map. Fracture goes their way.
Yeah, Fracture going their way is absolutely huge. We talked about how a best of 5 really forces these college teams to show their comfortability with the map pool that currently exists. And Cal Poly just came out and did a great job of kind of just navigating the map. Obviously played a much slower offense than we saw USF do, but that's because of the compositions as well. USF running 2 duelists, you're expecting them to explode onto site, try to get those frags early and hold on to it, versus CPP being a little bit more methodical, a little bit slower paced. But they were able to kind of throw variations in their gameplay that I didn't see a lot out of USF. That north side of the map almost continually ignored by USF. And when they did hit it, they actually got value out of it. I would have liked to see them go back to it more.
Yeah, I think that that's what this map ultimately came down to, was that CPP were willing to play a bit more proactive. They were, well, actually both proactive and reactive, in that they reacted to what was happening and what USF was throwing at them. They were also proactive in that they would make plays before USF made decisions on how to adjust. They were trying to preempt those by, I mean, for example, they took a big, huge pace change right after the timeout from USF in that first half. Like, that's really good to see, and it just shows that CPP, they were thinking that 1 or 2 more steps ahead than what USF were.
Yeah, just winning the macro game versus the micro game, right? Like, they obviously had the micro on lock when you have Chipotle guy getting 26 frags on Fade, as well as almost double-digit assist. I mean, Cake and Game Store combined for 33 assists that map. That is something out of 2 players. So everybody was there. Utility was being used properly, and they were able to trade off of each other and support each other in those fashions. That's really why you see CPP with that 1-0 lead, of course. I think after that one, though, we're going to need a break, because those site hits were just extremely quick, extremely fast, and extremely crazy. So we're going to be bringing you map 2, of course, right after this quick break. Stick around. You won't want to miss this.
That's so great. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. I am Sebdolence, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb, here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me before he started his last series, and he said, "We are not dropping a map for the rest of the day." And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game, going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence, and I love Bay State, so I hope they do a great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League, we're thinking high odds, low odds. Where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass?
Let me get you on your
No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape. Okay. And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, good. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview? Who should we interview?
I don't know, I'm just here. I need caffeine.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the ECAC Top Plays of the Week. I am Septilance, and I'm super excited to walk through these with you so you can see all of the great moments we are getting out of collegiate esports. One of my favorite things about these seasons is as they go on, as the years continue to pass, the skill ceiling just gets higher and higher, and the teams get better and better. Starting things off in week 1 and 2, these teams came out the gate swinging. Let's take a look at what they were ready to bring out in these early weeks. Valorant is a game all about risk versus reward, and Sin from NYIT wanted to show us just how much he was willing to risk to get that great reward of a round win.
Sort of forced to pop off, maybe get a little bit more sniper play, but these direct, tight angles make it tough. You have Axeris that actually gets a wallbang headshot onto Prime. Oh, that timing on the paranoia works so well.
Yo, give it up for the util, bro. Sin's gonna pick up 3 into the site. A lurk on its way from the chamber, but unless you're going to spam through this box, you're not getting anything done, and Panda won't even let him get that far. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that can be decided in milliseconds, and Waka, one of the best players from SUNY Canton A Squad, wanted to show us just what they can do with only a second and a single stock on the board.
Sledge option going to be charging for Smash going a little early. They're not quite getting what you want. Drop shield after first hit of Pink, getting hit by the kick. High percent. There is the stun into Claw. That Claw could have been charged for a lot longer. Oh my goodness, that's a forwarder into stage with the stage spike and then upping immediately after. What a sick.
1 point in Rocket League can never make a team feel comfortable, but Driftsy wanted to show us that not only was he going to pick the pace up, but he wasn't going to let his team down.
Defensive test with flying colors, though they couldn't get out, and that is the important part at the moment. Clears a must for UA, and it's just not in the cards at the moment.
Dripsy! Dripsy connects off the backboard! What a shot! I watched it unfold slowly. You stopped speaking at just the right moment.
Valorant is often called a team-based shooter, but sometimes it can't just be about the team. Sometimes you've got to have those hero plays. Spec wanted to spray and pray and was actually able to save the day for SVSU, tying up the series 7-7.
Hard B push here. 2 Omens folks coming out. 1. Oh, Spec just finds 3.
What?
Spraying through the smoke. Oh, what, Spec? That's not legal, man. That's not legal. This is match day 2 of the ECAC League. You can't be doing that right now. Spec just goes with the call.
Here in this clip, Fanshawe finds themselves with their backs against the wall, 20 seconds left on the clock, and they're desperate to take down Wake Forest. They don't have anything to get through this team, they don't have any weapons on the field, but with Jackie Moon in the wings, at least they had a sniper.
Apparently. Guys gonna believe all the shots. Oh, a sniper! Jackie Moon from about midway through. What a shot right here from Jackie.
Wow, good eye sniper. Yes, sir. Jackie Moon puts us on the right side. A little bit more to the left. This one would have been...
Here in this clip, we're going to get a great moment from a Pac-Man, and as a Pac-Man player, I was super excited to see it. We're going to hear a lot of praise from our commentators giving Mosey those compliments of choosing Snake against Pac-Man, a great counter pick. They were super excited to see a Snake on the field, but even without their blessing, Trollery does not yield.
Approach, but like you said, he's trying to play this safe because losing his stock right now for Concord would be really bad, and, well, a little bit of commentator's curse there. We kind of willed that one into existence. Oh, man. Oh my goodness! What?
Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Septilence, how could that be all we got from weeks number 1 and 2? Please tell me there's more. If you like what you saw, you've got to go check out ECAC Esports on all social media platforms. Please see what they're bringing to the table. It is great collegiate esports week after week. And on the bright side, folks, this is just the beginning. We've got the whole rest of what is guaranteed to be a great season ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this recap, and I'll see you on the next one.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb.
Hello and welcome back to Esports U. My name is Visionary One. Alongside me for all of tonight's action in the best of 5 is Vincent. Obviously, we just watched Fracture go to CPP 1-0 over USF. We're going to be bringing map 2 to you now, of course, which is going to be Haven. So definitely interested to see how this kind of gets brought out, especially because the Breach play honestly on both teams was phenomenal last map. I'm really excited to see what the Breaches are able to bring to Haven.
It was, but I think we have to say Cake did take the cake on that Breach performance. Just specifically had just basically every frag, it felt like, was assisted by the Breach. That's not true, but it felt true. And when you just look at the eye test and you're like, yeah, definitely was that sort of situation. But there's another stat line that I wanted to bring to your attention here. And that's opening picks. That's those first bloods that we're talking about. TKY doing a great job of picking up first bloods, had 5 of them. But the reality is that everybody was able to pick up opening picks for the side of CPP, and that wasn't as true. It was generally true, but not as true for South Florida. And I think that that's something to kind of keep our eye on. If the Bronco esports squad can continue to do that, then they're going to be in position to win any of these games, regardless of whose pick it is.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's kind of what we saw out of CPP regardless. It was team play oriented. It was, hey, set everybody up with your utility to swing this frag. It was almost no dry peaks, with the exception, of course, of Chipotle, Chipotle guy who just killed everything under the sun. So we're, of course, ready for agent select here. I expect to see Omens. I expect to see Breaches. I expect to see KJs. Pretty standard comp. Chumas is actually going to be running Fade. They were on the Rays in that double duelist comp last time. We're the second frag, of course, for University of South Florida. So it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table with this Fade here. Much more standard lineup coming out of Cal Poly Pomona, except you're going to see potentially a Rays instead of a Jet.
Yeah, I would really prefer to see this Jet. I mean, Mikey's doing a little bit of trolling right now, but I think considering they were on the Rays before, is probably going to stick with it. One thing, though, that I do want to bring up is that the Fade on paper probably seems pretty reasonable, but there isn't a Raise to combo with it, so you don't get that. I mean, the whole reason we saw Fade become good, like a big deal on this map, is partially because of that combo and the ease with which you can throw the utility as well. But that's a little bit odd to see that we don't see that combination. The second side of that is that at the highest level, well, Fade's sort of fallen out of popularity. And how far has it faded? Well, it's all the way down at the same pick rate as the likes of Viper on this map.
Yeah, and Viper's kind of that pocket pick when you want to run two controllers and really work the map and have that control over most of the sites on defense. Obviously, we're not going to see a lot of college teams running that just because it is hard to communicate, and also you have to find the ability to get frags on either Omen or Viper. And it's just a little bit more difficult to do that in these scenarios versus running two initiators like a Sova, like a Breach, where you can find, honestly, value out of your utility a lot easier than you can out of the controllers.
Indeed. And I also love to see both Sova and Breach coming through here. So for me, I think that Cal Poly's lineup here a little better. But of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win. Neo, though, hits a nice first shot, and that's TKY down.
Not only TKY, but Wright also falls right here as Rodon's going to be able to find one. Neo still on the backside, still on almost no health, and just the trades abound back and forth as Blazer and Chumas find a couple of their own as well. Grenade trying to deny the plant. A little bit of chip damage going to be done here. Chipotle guy got to find one. Are they going to be able to find another? It's going to be Mikey taking down Blazer. It's going to be a pistol round win for CPP. Of course, on a small little retake here for the Broncos Esports, little 2v2 post-plant action, but the paint shells really just open that up to make it a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's actually something I wanted to talk a bit more about as well, is Mikey specifically. I mean, yeah, great paint shells work in that endeavor in that round, but maybe a little bit less than perfect in that first map. Didn't need to be, because Chipotle guy just decided to be Himothy, but I want to see a little bit more from this agent specifically, because, well, now you're not in a double duelist, you're in a single duelist setup.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to kind of see the ebbs and flows of the composition changes and how that affects both teams. Obviously, I feel like the comp, like we mentioned, a little bit better on CPP, but this is just going to be the typical Eco Rush B. Definitely love to see it as well. A couple flashes burned, only one person on site. TKY somehow gets out with his life and 30 HP. The defuse already coming down as everybody spams through the wraparound garage. Going to get a lot of damage here as three fall. TKY still remaining alive as Chipotle guy takes him down, and that is your very typical Haven anti-eco right there. Let's get the plant money. Let's get out and fight and see if we can get a couple. They only get one.
Yeah, a little tragic to only get one, but yeah, it's to be expected. You don't think you're going to even get out of that alive, and I'm really surprised that TKY managed to be the last one living, doing some real serious bullet dodging in that endeavor. But here we are. Here's the gun round, so to speak. It is a little less of a gun round in that there's only Spectres, but we know that these can be very deadly, a little less deadly than they used to be with the nerfs that came through a few months back now, but regardless, CPP on the defense, they do get to elect when these duels happen, so you would give them maybe a little bit better of a chance on a round like this.
Yeah, I like the delay tactics too, just to try to lure the fights in a little bit closer. Well, maybe you can find some value with those guns. It's actually a great job there as well. And oh my, everybody's going to take it down right now. Neo and GameStore combining there, taking 2 off of C Long. GameStore finds another through the smoke. Hello, check his PC. Blazer finds the answer back. A 1v3. You do have a Phantom, but you only have 40 HP. Guns are going to be acquired. The bonus round has been stolen, and USF has got to go, how do we attack from here? We just lost against Spectres, and it's an early timeout coming.
Yeah, this is really, really good to see from USF. And I'm actually thinking back. I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure because, well, I cast far too many games in a week time. So remembering precisely what happened is difficult. But I think USF actually did this a lot in their series last week in the quarterfinals. I think that they were willing to pretty quickly take a timeout and just kind of think about things and how to approach them, which I really, really appreciated. I really liked. They're going to do it again here. Though, I will say, I don't know if anything particularly went wrong in that, other than they just were a little bit careless and they got a bit unlucky, right? Like, how many times we're going to see that double kill through the smoke with GameStore? It's like not that many times.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Spectre. It's kind of its job to just churn bullets. But one thing I do want to note here as well, you're talking about, hey, this is a good time to take a timeout. And you like that they're using it early. I actually like that they're using it on the bonus, or basically on their eco round as well. So they have the ability to come through and essentially talk about the next round and how they're going to attack their full buy for this extra time as well, right? Like this round on paper, scuffed, completely scuffed. You have a Stinger and 4 Sheriffs. Now, we've seen the swings back and forth between both of these teams, so it's not to say that it's out of the realm of possibility that USF can win, but you do get that additional time to kind of plan out your full buy round to try to be effective against this defense that you really haven't been having any success against.
Well, since we're on an eco, you want a bit of esports history? A little lore?
Yeah, give me some lore.
So, this is some CS lore, to be fair. Back in the day, French teams used to use their eco rounds, like when they wouldn't buy anything, they just have default guns. So it'd be like, you know, full classics, not like this. They just sit and spawn for a minute and a half, and just wait. Force the other team to use all their utility and just talk about the next round. It's called a French timeout.
Well, we're going to see if the French timeout will find some value here, as the lurk is just kind of on mid, as Rodon's actually going to find a pick, secure themselves a Phantom as well. So starting to swing both ways. As Chipotle, you're just going to take that fight.
Okay.
Like, cancel the ult, brother. He's in your face as the guns are secure. Rodon's able to get another one, and now all of a sudden it's a 3v2. And we were talking about, hey, you know, it's college Valorant, crazier things have happened. Well, here's crazy. It's right in your face, and it's happening right now. USF looking to pull out the thrifty round.
Spike planted.
I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he didn't cancel that is outrageous. Just should have canceled. TKY in a very counterfeited position right now. There's just no way they expected. But fortunately, this Omen GameStore going to be headed up towards heaven. But the time, it's already been ticking quite a while. The Aftershock's going to clear out short, popping out information. Paranoia isn't actually going to hit anyone. Rodon is going to have that frag. This is USF's round, almost certainly. And it will be Rodon with the quad kill. A thrifty round that, honestly, it's fully CPP's fault that they lost this. They got a little overzealous. They got overconfident, and that's the problem with confidence. Is it's great until it bites you in the butt.
You need your duelist to have confidence to take those opening fights, right? You don't need everybody on the team to have that confidence to just kind of swing out for no reason. Especially Kate.
Yeah.
I mean, you already saw the whole push B strat once on their first eco, right? On their first pistol round. You know they only have enough to buy Sheriffs. You're probably expecting to see it again. And Cake just kind of peeks out and takes 110 damage off the rip. And that kind of really set the tone for the round, in my opinion. Just that shoulder peek and not really paying attention to where you're located because I have a rifle. I can't lose this. Kind of just set the tone. And with that happening, as this Nanostorm is going to get popped into Garage, as a little pressure heads that way, a little bit more default action, but kind of just sets the tone for the round, right? Kind of that careless, carefree, like, hey, we're going to win this anyway. It doesn't matter. They have Sheriffs, and turns on their head, and USF is going to have the ability to potentially pull themselves within one here. In no way or fashion they really should have.
Yeah, it's just a bit of carelessness in reality. Aftershock moving for TKY. Last bullet hits the shot in time. on Cake. So disadvantage now for Cal Poly. The ultra aggression from Chipotle guy is going to be punished, and now problems begin to abound for CPP. They're going to need a big hold here by Mikey.
There's one, there's two. Okay, Mikey getting some value there, turning this into a 2v2. Spike has not gone down yet as well. So it looks like everyone clusters right here, of course, around B-Link pushing in. Flash going to be used, only hits the turret. So we're going to see essentially USF more health here, but you have the opportunity to at least spot one out. There's one frag found by Neo. Now you have the pinch. It's going to be on. There's Neo once again being able to shut it down. CPP returns to their winning ways, being able to pick up this round. But like you mentioned earlier, the economy for USF is not going to be broken after that massive 3-3 round last time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of a thrifty round. You don't buy anything. Not only do you get the money for the round win, but you are already saving. So you basically get, I mean, you don't get double money, but you have double money. And so it'll be a situation the same in this case where, I mean, TKY even had enough for an operator there. I don't know what weapon actually got thrown out. Bought a teammate, might go for the Blade Storm instead. That seems the most likely scenario. Just to make sure the money stays even. Nonetheless, regardless the decision, I think both are fine. And so we are going to see that Blade Storm. But as soon as CPP get a little more serious about things, they bring it back. They make them blaze. And, I mean, Neo, continuing where they left off over on that first map, it felt like Fracture, it was very much Neo in the mid-round, just finding multi-frags and another multi-frag there.
Yeah, and it's just what Neo, I mean, I've come to expect so far. I mean, it's been one map, but they continue to do it as Neo finds one on TKY. And a little spam here might get some damage done, just narrowly missing a member. And so my question is Chipotle, okay, I thought he was trolling a little bit by having the operator and no shields. Turns out they do have a Vandal, so that's definitely going to be good. And Chipotle guy doesn't lose 1v1s. Going to be able to get chomped by the Prowler right there. Early swing coming out from Blazer to be able to capitalize on that. Mikey gets one. Mikey finds two after using the showstopper. Finds a headshot. Blazer's going to get one for the road, but it doesn't matter. Spike doesn't even drop there. And again, it's Neo on the KJ finding opening frags in Garage just by kind of being a rat, playing the sound that they're hearing. And even the presence of a flash from Garage turned TKY around. So they didn't have the opportunity to even see Neo swinging them. It's just the combos of utility are always so cohesive over here for the Broncos.
Can you even call it rat behavior? Neo just swinging out and getting a kill. I feel like it's Chad behavior, is it not?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? Because like playing that position in Garage as KJ is like inherently a little bit ratty. But at the same time, like the way he just ego swung that, knowing that the threatening of the flash being pulled out, that's heard and not even used. Absolutely, that goes to show that they just know what they're doing. And TKY, I think that's the first time I've seen you not get utility off a free peek.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, though. With the Sheriff, it can be a little bit tough at that range, regardless of the difficulty. This is going to be an interesting retake. The reason is there's two lockdowns. We got the first one, and the attackers going down, and it's okay. I was going to say it's happening again. TKY, no, takes the shot and goes for another, gets that frag. Both the lockdowns, they're going to be effective. They're going to go through. A player detained on both sides of the equation is Shumis. Maybe gonna get defended by the rest of the team. There is a player here. No, the lockdown doesn't last long enough for CPP to take control. Cake and Chipotle, the last two alive, up against the Omen, and taking that swing seems unnecessary to me. Blazer didn't have to take the fight then and there. Could have waited. As you see how close it was, just 5 seconds left on that timer.
2v1, like one is gonna stick, or one theoretically should stick, right? But I mean, you're right, you play your life there regardless. You don't have to isolate the 1v1, especially as an Omen, where you might be able to delay with a smoke. Maybe you have Paranoia still left in the round, so it's kind of iffy. At the same time though, sometimes you just have that feeling like I might be able to catch them off guard, and you know, sometimes the feeling's wrong, and you know, you feel it in your gut, and then you go, okay, my bad guys, we go next. But CPP right now 6-1, continuing to stack econ, continuing to stack that paper, and right now it almost feels like compound interest. It just keeps growing.
That it does, yeah. It doesn't seem like this is a 6-1 scoreline, does it? USF, they've been in these rounds. It's been relatively close, but in the end, not anything but that one round for USF. Double aggression now laid out here in Sewer. This short position can be so good, and the Rolling Thunder, that's going to confirm everything that they had thought. Jumis checks the back, but not fast enough. But Mikey might get counterfeited. This is a Killjoy coming in from the flank, but Chipotle pulls out in time, and Mikey has another. This is brilliant stuff, despite Roden coming in the moment of truth. TKY still alive, but now the only one living is them.
Yeah, oh, okay, TKY finds one. Here's the second one. Gets a second. Going to be spotted here. Wallbang's coming through. Both people, not a lot of ammunition to work with. I think we're working with two classics and jump spots. Both players low right now. Huge opportunity for both. TKY is actually going to fake the reload animation. The swing, the right click. TKY confirms the 4K clutch in a 1v4, able to win the round. And that was just insanity all the way around. TKY just keeping his wits about him, isolating his 1v1s and catching dubs.
This is why TKY is that guy, because it doesn't matter that everything went right for Cal Poly in that round. It doesn't matter that it was a perfect flank, that it was executed just sublimely in that round for them. Because if TKY is the last one there, can always clutch up, and they did that right there perfectly. Finding the round victory in the 1-on-3. Simply phenomenal. Bladestorm out here for USF, which does kind of lead me to the conclusion that they're probably a little bit economically in trouble. You wouldn't go for that unless you had to.
I mean, could just be a heat check.
True.
And heat check immediately shut down, but Chuma is going to get the frag right back onto Mikey. Loses the showstopper as well. Chipotle guy and Neo going to find a couple as Blazer somehow doesn't get hit with that. Does have the From the Shadows to at least secure a plant potentially. So they're on top looking for anybody who's rotated yet. Not going to find anybody as the turret does pop back up. So the spot is there potentially. Not going to find it just yet as the smokes are going to fall. It's a 4v2 retake right now for CPP.
Would have loved to see that Hunt sure be used in that, but it would be a bit wasteful in fairness. I'm just one thing. Ooh, Haunt didn't quite go where it was intended, I don't think, from Chumis, so it won't be effective. There will be no frags through the smoke for the offense, and Neo will get the defuse. Unfortunately, whenever USF are finding high impact, they're instantly shut down and brought back down to earth. And, you know, you said maybe it was a heat check for TKY. Well, they rolled like a 3, all right? That's the problem. You can't, you got to roll better than that.
You kind of need a nat 20 there if you're just going to heat check it.
I mean, at least like a 17 or something.
Yeah, you need like a solid 3-4. Like, that's just how it works, right? You need 3 or 4 frags. That's typically going to get you at least a 15 on a roll, right? If we're just using basic math, you need to at least
I think
throw a
that
15
math checks out.
Yeah, I mean, like Caster math, I didn't study accounting or anything. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I dropped out of school. I ain't got a clue.
You know what? Your Valorant knowledge, however, exquisite. You know what else is exquisite? Neo with another first blood. Like, KJ being just Giga Chad peeking out mid, knowing that it's an eco, knowing that they're going to push this. Hey, let's just go ahead and make it 2 to start off with, as Cake just going to spam everything right. Actually going to find a wallbang headshot with a classic? That gun even wallbangs?
I mean, I guess through that little, like, the side of the wall there on B, on the right and left side. That's what it was, but...
Vincent, you cannot convince me that these walls are not made out of paper mache, dude.
Dude, those walls are definitely paper mache. There's no convincing needed. I'm right there with you.
Breathe on it and something will go through it. It's ridiculous. I could sneeze and the projectile of the sneeze would somehow find its way through these walls on Haven. It's ridiculous.
Listen, a water molecule could connect with the wall and it would just fall apart. That's the way that it goes. I don't know how that works, but it definitely works. Don't look up the science because I can't defend it. Nonetheless, what I can defend is the 8-2 scoreline for Cal Poly right now. And this, you know, last map we were like, yeah, but this is their pick. Yeah, but like they wanted to go here. It's Fracture, but it's Haven now. And USF, they decided to play this.
You're gonna eliminate Pearl. You're gonna eliminate, of course,
Split.
Yeah, Split as well, which I kind of feel like Split would kind of play into USF's rushy style, especially with the 2 duelist meta kind of being brought back by teams like Fnatic on it, as this is going to be a great sit by TKY. But how does Chipotle guy live there? He is unkillable.
He's a liver. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my god.
So it's a 2-on-4. This is very winnable for USF. They're going to have to give up the GOAT here. Rodan on a quick flank, but it's so well known. But I don't think they're going to have a lot of time to actually confirm or deal with this. Never mind. Mikey's got it. No problems whatsoever.
No problems to be found. Blazer's going to find that one from Sewer, and it's going to be a shutdown by USF. And hey, if we have that 8-4 scoreline again, we've already seen USF's ability to win thrifties. We've seen their ability to win bonuses. Well, theoretically, we've seen both teams' abilities to win bonuses now with the first half going the way it is with CPP winning their bonus here. On defense, it's going to be interesting because I always feel like Haven is one of those maps that can just really hard go either way. Like, you can be super defensive sided for one team, and then they get on the offense, they're not able to really execute properly. I don't think that's a problem that CPP will have. It's just Haven ebbs and flows much weirder than most other maps in Valorant, I feel like, to where it doesn't really trend attacker or defender sided. Really just depends on comp and how the team plays.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some numbers on it, but I would agree. It's very dependent on the team and also momentum. Base. I used to say this about Bind, but Haven has a bit of it as well. And I used to say that, listen, Bind is a map that it doesn't matter what the scoreline is. It's a matter of who has the momentum. And Haven kind of has that same situation.
I've always felt like that, and we're seeing momentum coming out the window right now as Rodon's able to just get their way up Garage and find two important frags. Neo and Cake just falling asleep, and Chumis able to get Game Store lurking through their smoke just a little bit too soon as the Killjoy lockdown still going to be here. Chipotle guy going to have to bail off of this as well. Operator right now in the hands of Mikey. You're going to have to find some opening frags and really isolate some 1v1s. The first shot is missed, and that is just a cleanup by Wright and Rodon. It's going to be 8-4, and this is kind of that potential. Once again, you have the fade and the Prowlers after the nerf, right? Really not useful on offense with the long angles on C and A long, right? That you can really hold. You can't clear them out like you used to. On defense, however, the offense has to come to you. Those Prowlers immediately become more useful, and I feel like this comp is definitely a little bit more defender-sided for USF. So they have that opportunity still waiting in the wings, Vincent.
Yeah, and we're at a similar scoreline. In fact, the same scoreline that we saw in that first map as well. 8-4 at the half, favoring Cal Poly Pomona. And, you know, I think that the reality here is that CVP, they have the lead, but that lead can evaporate incredibly swiftly. So, USF, we'll have to see what they have to give us. Very aggressive from USF on this pistol round. 3 players already out mid, and, well, Rodon hitting the shot, so good work, I guess. Outrageous amount of aggression, though.
Why not? I mean, it was a pistol strat on Fracture. We saw it get some value. They won some rounds they probably shouldn't have, as Game Store is just going to lurk around. Rodon sitting here. Let's change over to the Frenzy. Got the first 3. Oh, hello. Unfortunate. Howdy. Rodon gets 4, and it's a good way to start it off. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it certainly is. Pistol round victory number 1 is there for USF. And number 2, just to kind of compare and contrast, yeah, they did do something similar back on Fracture, but that's not outrageous on Fracture. That's like the norm. Yeah, it's fair. A bit outrageous here. Yeah, right? And I think that you have to respect the confidence of USF to go for that. Not only are they down a map in this series, but they're also down 8-4 again, and they go for it anyway. They were betting on themselves, and I love it. I love a team that's willing to bet on themselves and play as if it does not matter what the scoreline is, because at the end of the day, each round is a different round.
That's a great nanoswarm right there as well. It completely nullifies the fact that a drone was going through Garage, so they know the utility is there. As a couple shots are going to go down. Rodon's going to be down to 70 health, and we have a small force once again coming out from the breach over here. Cake has a Stinger in hands once again. I don't know if this is their strat to get breach and just get him a gun. Chumis is here. Mikey is lurking up heavy here. So the paint shell is going to come out. Rodon's going to get a little bit more chip damage done. Almost eliminated by that paint shell. And it's going to be a plant. CPP being able to get it down here. Of course, on essentially what is an eco.
And there's Neo once again stepping up in one of these rounds. And there's that Stinger. Close range. It gets one frag before getting traded. But it's hard to anticipate a second player here. That's going to be free. The right click for Game Store. A free gun, by the way. As CPP now 1v1. Neo in the clutch. And they're both solo. 1 bullet requirement for Blazer and Neo. And Blazer doesn't have any clue that Neo's getting aggressive.
Does now, though. Oh, the shoulder peek. The shoulder just spots out. USF is able to secure another round. And again, CPP on their eco decides to buy that Stinger. So the econ's going to be a little sketchy once again for Cake. And I just don't know how I feel about continuing to force up with just one member. I feel like it's an all or nothing thing, not a, oh, well, you know what? I'll just buy another Stinger and see if we can get me a gun kind of thing.
You know, I still agree with you, but at the same time, I'm just thinking, deja vu. That's all I have.
Yeah.
It's so quick. Like, same 4 kills, same Stinger in the 3rd round, and potentially same victory here. We don't know. We'll see.
So, I mean, if we're following the script, right? USF wins this round and then throws a thrifty and...
True.
Yeah. And then chaos happens. Who knows at this point?
We will really be in the craziest timeline if that were to be the case, but Rodan only has a classic this round? That's a bit weird. Mikey will easily take both of them out. And the C site is now open for business. And not the good kind. It's like the shady kind, the shady business.
The scuffed business. The ones where you're not sure if you're safe at night, but at the same time, they have really good deals on stuff.
Wait, hold on a second. Which businesses are you attending?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe find a fake Gucci bag somewhere for your fiance. You know, it happens. This has to be a save with the operator in hand, right? You're not pushing this.
100%. You can't. I mean, you can, but it would be a little bit scuffed if you were to do so. Just to keep the theme going here. Yeah. TKY, an attempted shot. That one going to be unsuccessful, and so we'll fall even further back. I like the save call. This is the right call, and this is something that is actually really useful on this map. Because they already they were already sort of saving this round, but they're not going to get away with it. That operator's gone.
No, I mean, okay, Blazer finds 2 at least, but gonna be taken down. And they just ensured that the guns are just disappearing. Like you're not keeping it. So CPP able to come through and pull that out. And honestly, we kind of tend to forget that CPP did find some value out of that second round. They did get, you know, it was down to a 1v1, right, on that bonus, and that's why you saw. I mean, that's why you saw Neo with just a classic. That's why you see him now with a Bulldog. So on both sides, we're kind of seeing scuffed economy buys, obviously favoring CPP a little bit with that win on the last one, but still light shields being bought, a Bulldog being bought. Like nothing is guaranteed at this point. And TKY is just pushing the pace, pushing the tempo once again, and they might meet a devastating end to Game Store.
No charges.
For the record, it was Rodan on the classic, just so
oh, my bad,
you know.
My bad.
But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all good. 9-6, though, with the opening pick, working into a 4-4. And this very heavily actually favors the attacker side because now USF, they have to, listen, make some gambles. Of course, they always gamble responsibly, but the difficulty is there's no real responsible answer here. They got to leave something open. This time it's the A site, and in fairness, that's where no one is at. So they've done well to make this call for the time being, but that's just it. The call's good for now, but it won't always be that way.
I mean, the real question is, do they slow walk early enough to not get heard really going through sewer if they decide to aggress that way? That's going to be the real question. Obviously, fault line's going to be blown here. You probably hear that one. You see everybody on defense start to lurk kind of towards A. So they have the hard read on where they're going, but the fault line is just a fake. Yeah, we're going to fake the fake. Apparently, we're playing Rocket League right now.
I love this double fake right here. This is just huge brain maneuvers right now for CPP. And obviously they're a bit slow on the approach initially. They don't want to overswing, but they have found the call. Nobody was home.
They certainly have, but Rodon does have lockdown here, so that's going to be interesting. That's going to get dropped, and there's going to be a hard read on this, right? Oh, yep, hello. Okay, we're going to see, of course, we're going to see the retaliation of the breach coming out right there with their ultimate as well. Chuma's going to be able to find some value with this, and Blazer just swinging through, spraying wildly, and doesn't get taken down by the shock dart. Actually finds another. Is Cake. Chumas, you're just running it down. You have an Odin. You have the gun of destiny right now. Unfortunately, not able to land a headshot with it, which is just so deadly with that aim punch. Unfortunately for them, though. Dropping, falling CPP. Able to take a 10th. They're in double digits. And it seems like almost an exact repeat of what happened on the last map.
Yeah, I mean, not quite anymore, but it's the same in the momentum swing, right? That's what it was the momentum swing in that Thrifty round. Instead, it happens on the bonus, and yeah, just great rounds back to back. And that call, whoever made that call for USF, I mean, to be fair, Rodan, in-game leader for them to swing back over towards A. Right call. Unfortunately, the double thing.
Yeah, you got to take the reads that you're given, right? When you don't have an agent that can actually get that information for you with the haunt being down. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Neo's going to find another opening pick on Rodan, and I think that's like Neo's 5th first blood so far as KJ. So Haven seems to be their playground. Yeah, had 4 last map, has more than that definitely now. Right click's going to come out, not going to find anything for TKY. Neo is just bullying people at this point. Are we sure this is legal?
I mean, definitely legal. Nice? No, it's very mean. Very, very mean. Chumas, though, that's some nice work done with the weapon of choice, it feels like. Chumas on the sheriff's been really good. Nonetheless, it's good but not great. And so, great is round winning. Good is, oh, hey, good. They got a couple kills.
I mean, it's kind of what you're looking for out of an eco regardless, right? Take 2 or 3 down. The problem is that you win 3 in a row, your economy is going to be stacked. You're stacking paper like you're Floyd Mayweather. It's that simple, and you didn't really shut anything down. You're going to see the 4 Vandals, the 1 Spectre. We're going to see an Operator purchased by TKY right here. I'm interested to see because I'm not going to say he's falling asleep at the wheel, but like that 1 shot on that breach in the last round, it seems like the confidence is starting just to wane a little bit as this is a full-on aggressive A push off the rip, and it is red. The rotations are coming out. The delay doing a decent job, at least, is Mikey versus Blazer is going to be a pivotal opening frag here to really kind of get the ball rolling.
I like this paint shells, just really force out anybody playing that close range endeavor. Nobody close at this point. Blazer's falling all the way back with the shrouded step, and there's the push out onto the site. So the plant does go down, but Chumas getting that kill on the game store. That's the first step in this, but Mikey clawing things back. TKY invested into that operator. He said it might have looked shaky, but now delivering when it matters most. 3 on 4, but the lockdown catches one.
I think that's bait, honestly. I think that's bait because it was the operator that was there, but they're fully aware that they're double stacked in heaven as the trades are just coming out. Huge swings, 3 kills immediately by CPP. TKY getting hunted down right now, not able to land that one on the jump spot. Grabs the Phantom, knows they're going to die here. Tries to go down with the fight, but Neo's going to take them down. And are you going to pop the molly? A little bit of BM? Nah, we're just going to leave it on top of them. We're not going to actually pop it and try to nano swarm a dead body. So good on CPP there for, a modium of restraint.
There's a word you mentioned in the last round, and I want to bring it back up. It's a very important word in the game of Valorant. It's called trades, right? Where are they? USF, they've disappeared. I don't know what happened, but USF doesn't have any. They need to restock. Unfortunately, they've just been in these situations where, sure, they get a kill or 2, but they aren't getting trade frags. And we saw it there with the crossfire, and it's because of the crossfires on those post plants that CPP has been putting into effect.
TKY, you've pushed out of that C long position 3 or 4 times at this point. It's gonna get hard red. They're not gonna not clear you at that point. Like if you have the Blade Storm, you have the potential to swing around. I don't know how Mikey gets away with that, and it's 13-6. And I mean, Cal Poly once again just coming through and starting to really do work. And again, we talked about cohesiveness of utility on Fracture, right? And that led to 33 assists between the Brimstone and the Breach. Here, between Cake, of course, and Game Store, they ended up with, I believe, 22 at the beginning of that round. I don't have the final stats there because I know there was a fault line that hit, a couple of other things that came out. And I actually look at this real quick and do some quick math. It is 22 total. So that combo, regardless, like Game Store not positive 12, 13, and 12, but that's a great job of setting up your teammates again. And we're seeing that cohesiveness of utility continue to come out, continue to set up. And USF just kind of seems a little bit rattled. Like they're not able to go through and actually effectively communicate right now to be able to use that utility as effectively as the Broncos are.
Yeah, they aren't doing that, and they aren't fighting those trade frags. Those are the two big things for me. Another thing I want to check it back in on. Remember the conversation we had at the beginning of this map? Mikey, a little bit slow, I think, on map number 1. Wasn't required, but you're typically going to want to expect something a little bit more from your duelist. Right back in it this time around. 21 and 13 was right there, had the opening picks, a couple of first bloods, alongside Neo, who was at 3. And this is what I was talking about. Remember how I mentioned that it isn't just 1 or 2 people who have been finding opening picks or first bloods for the side of Broncos. They are just all doing that. 3 for Mikey, 3 for Neo, 1 for Chipotle Guy, 4 for Game Store. That's your controller, by the way. And then Cake had 2. On the other side, it's really just TKY to find that consistency in that department.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously want your duelists to get first bloods, but it just goes back to I'm just going to start calling it what it is. It's the Wombo combo. It's the utility setups that allow anybody to frag on this CPP team. It's easy to shoot somebody when they're fault lined unless you're me. It's easy to kill somebody who's blinded and has their back turned to you. And it's just, we continue to see these opportunities that continue to present themselves for the Broncos and give themselves easy kills and easy kind of round swings, right? Those mid-round frags are all utility-based, essentially, and it really allows everything to be opened up. So, Vincent, before we hop number 3, I just want to see if you have any final thoughts on how kind of USF could bring it back, because they are on match point now.
I mean, my thoughts are, I think they need to shoot back a little bit harder. I think they need to be positioned a little bit better to put themselves in those spots to trade. Those are the key points for me. We're going to see if they can figure that out during this break. We're going to head to that right now, and Lotus will be coming up when we come back.
Read college athletics and how it's connected and how it's not, and take what we have expertise in championships, but also throw out some of the other stuff. I remember when we first started, there were some conferences were applying their amateurism rules to all of their esports competitors, and I think we knew enough to know that no, that's not going to work in an esports culture. It's got to be very different. And by the way, the NCAA was going in a different direction. You could see the train had already left the station on that, and so it's an incredibly dynamic area and ever changing, and will continue to change. And just as we didn't know when we started what it's going to be looking like, I think similarly, we still don't know what it's going to be in another 5 years. I know enough to know that all of us are still going to have a thriving esports program that's doing a real good service for our members and for our competitors. But we still don't know necessarily what some of that is going to look like, and that's pretty cool about it all. Let me ask you this, because you all are used to dealing with your athletic directors. And each of them are dealing with what's in front of them in their athletic departments. My guess is at least some of your schools are that this is not necessarily operating within the athletic department. And can you talk about how you navigate that in a conference office, and maybe the best way to handle that, or do you have preferences? Do you try to steer them one way or the other? And just talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Sure. The majority of our schools are not under the athletics umbrella. We have one institution that perhaps by next year will be under the auspices of athletics, but most of them are in other departments across campus. Right. One of the things that has helped us is that we have support from the president's office. And so in order to participate in Mountain West events, you have to have an adult non-student administrator that oversees that, the esport program. And that's where we get assistance with, eligibility checks and, please complete your roster, things like that. I don't know in the future, and it depends on, who's sitting in the athletics director's chairs, whether or not more esport teams will go under the umbrella of athletics. And I'm kind of indifferent in terms of whether it should, because I don't want esports to go down the road that some conventional sports have gone down with the NCAA. So we have a unique opportunity to kind of craft esports in a way that fits what esports is, as opposed to trying to fit it into a conventional athletics box, so to speak.
Right.
You know, I think the success of our program and getting participation is exactly that. The fact that we're not tying it in necessarily to athletics and NCAA eligibility. Like Carolyn, we probably have 3 or 4 schools that are under athletics. And I know it puts them in a difficult position sometimes trying to make some decisions. I got a request recently to consider allowing part-time students to participate during this year, because some schools struggle sometimes to fill out all the games that they want to play with us. And we held off on that for now. You know, we defer to the institution and say, what's your policy for those that are under student development or activities? What's your policy for allowing students to participate? And if you certify that they're eligible under your current policies, then that's good for us. I also think, and I was part of some of the conversations early on with the NCAA years ago about the NCAA getting involved as a Division II representative, and I was crossing my fingers that wouldn't happen, just because I think this needs time to grow, you know, and expand.
Can I ask Bob a question, because you mentioned part-time enrollment, and one of the things that we've done here is that as a conference we've just set eligibility standards, full-time enrollment, making progress towards your degree as the institution defines it. Are you guys doing something like that as well? Because we've gotten that part-time enrollment question and we've said no.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've gotten that far down the line, Carolyn, to ask for that. I think we kind of put it on the institution, but we do say that the student has to be a full-time. Now, they could be a full-time grad student, but they have to be full-time as from what the institution decides.
Yeah, our eligibility requirements are just as simple as can be. You have to be a full-time student in good standing.
Yes.
And after that, and that's about it. Now I think we wanted as few impediments to getting this thing rolling as possible in the outset. I do think as schools get more competitive, they will start to distrust one another, and that's why we have this 500-page NCAA manual, because schools distrust one another. But we're not there yet. You know, right now there's still a collective. Let's move this forward, and the fact that the NCAA is not administering it, I think, is really helpful to the growth of it all. And yes, we allow grad students. We don't even have a 4 or 5 year clock. If you are full-time enrolled for 10 years in good standing, you can do, and why not? Why would we not say that that's okay? Now, eventually, like I said, we may change our minds if the schools require it. They say, no, this is crazy. Look what they're doing over there. We don't like, you know, but I think we're still a long way from that. Alex, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that really Carolyn has said. You know, you're gonna have to forgive me. What was the original question? It's been a minute. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, just kind of what you set out to do, and then what maybe the realities of it all.
Hello and welcome back to Esports U. Of course, my name is Visionary One. Alongside me, Vincent. For the last 2 maps, we've seen the Broncos kind of dominate the utility game, dominate both the macro game and the micro game, and it's led us here to match point, which is going to be on Lotus. Obviously, we saw USF kind of come out, of course, with a really aggressive tactics on the 3-site map. Well, we get another one. Are we going to be right back at it again with USF kind of trying to push the pace?
You know, it's hard to say, but USF in general are just a pacey team. They like to play aggressive, and I think that's fine. But it can it can be problematic when you run up against somebody, or a team in this case, that is really shooting well and are tactically very sound. They don't overswing. They make sure to let you take sites when they have utility to retake, and then retake themselves with ease. And when that is the case, it is difficult, I think, for a team that likes to play with pace, if they don't get opening picks, to actually win.
Yeah, and it really just comes down to, again, the fact that you are going to use utility on site, especially like when that fade, that haunt, we really didn't see a lot of value out of it, especially in the last map. And so when you don't have that information, you don't really have anything to go off of. So you still continue to spam that utility. You kind of start losing that battle just bit by bit, as everything is there for the retake for the opponents, who of course has been Cal Poly Pomona. But we're going to see another breach. Love to see Cake on the breach, of course. Neo going back on the Killjoy. Can't say I'm surprised there, but a Neon lock-in by Chumis. That is an interesting pick for this map, and I have seen it be effective before at the highest level, but it is not expected, to say the least.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. A team that likes to get aggressive, likes to play a forward position, and continually push their luck. I mean, that's a great pick for them. I think the Neon makes a lot of sense. It works with their play style, and particularly if TKY locks in the Sky, it will be a good, very well-rounded composition. On the other side of things, this is going to be interesting that we have a Gecko on the board. I think if there's a place that you can play Gecko right now, it is Lotus. Like, Lotus is undeniably the best map for Gecko. Currently, maybe Fracture could be argued, but Gecko definitely is a Lotus pick. I also think that it's somewhat difficult to determine if it's like good still right now. It's just so new. And so for me, I've seen it be very effective. I've also seen it kind of be flat. It just depends on how well you use the utility.
Yeah, and it really just comes down to, in my opinion, especially on Lotus, the kind of weird spots that you can throw Dizzy out of, like especially like Waterfall, right? You can throw him straight up. He will get and spot anybody on C long because it doesn't have any range limitation, right? So I feel like there's some good spots, some cheeky spots that you can actually use them effectively. And of course, everybody's fan favorite Wingman is going to come out as well. And if you shoot the Wingman, we might have some audible groans here on chat tonight. I'm not sure, but I know I will, as that is the cutest little gremlin that exists in this beautiful game.
You know, I think gremlin's a great word for...
It's just the noises, man. It's the noises.
Yeah. Indeed, yeah. Noises are great. Lots of utility, though, put into B-Link here, making it difficult to move forward if you're USF, and that aggression starting to actually be found and answered, but the adjustment almost immediately back to C. It's all a bit of a ruse when you think about it. All of that utility being invested, they saw all the players, and so they realized that C site had rotated.
Unfortunate pick onto the Viper there, though, is Rodon, and Chumis is going to find some more value out of that Neon pick. I mean, we weren't questioning it. You said it was a good fit for the play style, and the ability to hold that site afterwards isn't exactly what Neon's known for, as of course the location is going to be spotted of Neo, going to get flashed as well from behind, and Chumis is going to clean that one up with a 3K. And USF with a very successful opening round right there, getting the first pick, of course, with the quadruple swing, of course, onto Chipotle guy. I think that's a real big opener and a way to kind of build some momentum for yourself. And there's Kate going, no, we still forced by stingers while my team does absolutely nothing else.
I mean, clearly they've decided this is the strat, and in fairness, has been effective twice. So whilst I'm in the same ballpark as you, of like, typically this isn't the play, its effectiveness can't be argued with. Also, appreciate TKY giving us Surprise Penguin.
A Surprise Penguin is great. You know what else is also great is Cake probably just telling his team right now that, hey, I got mine, so I'm buying a Stinger anyway. Does anybody else have frags? Don't tell me what to do, all right? Don't tell me what to do, as this is an aggressive B hit. And honestly, it's kind of surprising to see as TKY and Rodon are both going to get value out of it, and then you're just going to make me eat my words as Chumis comes around the site as well. That's actually 3 Phantoms invested in this round, by the way, as the smoke is here for Chipotle guy. Gonna get flashed, gonna get spammed, and that is wraps, of course. Give Neo all the way, finally pushing through B, and hello, your screen is lit up, you've been flashbanged, and you are dead. It's gonna be 2-0, fully flawless Anti-eco right there with 3. I mean, that was a rather large investment as well, but that also bodes well for this next round coming up, that you get to carry 3 Phantoms over.
Yeah, and I think that this is maybe an adjustment from USF, thinking like CPP, they went for that weird buy every single last time that we've been in an anti-eco round after a pistol win. Let's just buy aggressively. Let's make sure that we have the weapons and that we're going to be best suited to take those fights, and it works out. So, first gun round, a little less weaponry at hand because of that purchase, but it's not too bad. It's just a little bit worse than it would have been. Nonetheless, split here. Working a 3-1-1 right now. 3 players quick to the rotate for B should they be needed, but they're pretty much committed to A. And this fight, it's a little bit of a struggle to hit that shot, but Chipotle guy does connect.
TKY answers right back, but unfortunately on the reload, GameStar is able to find one. Rodon has the trade, and this is what we wanted to see the entirety of the last map out of USF, is the ability to come out and actually trade their teammates. They're doing a much better job of it, and that's why they're able to hold this round down so far. Some spam is going to tag Neo, but Mikey is going to find the first pick. Neo is going to swing once again, just on the hesitation from knowing that somebody is indoor, and it's going to be 2-1. CPP finally going to pull the first round here on the big buy round, but again, they lost 3 guns, so it's going to be interesting to see what they end up buying here. It's going to be light shields, full guns all the way around, except for a Guardian.
Yeah, I mean, relatively good enough. When they have 2 players surviving, they can probably get the buys out, and they do. On the other side of things for USF, expectedly, because of their flawless victory, they have no money troubles. They're very much living life and having a good time here with plenty of cash. An initial utility though out towards A almost immediately, pushing USF to aggress elsewhere, and it's straight back towards C. Immediate decision for Chumas.
I like teams being decisive here though. I mean, if you're gonna make those calls, do it aggressively, do it with confidence, and go ahead and get yourself a site. You're gonna see the Seekers being burned here as well, and round number 4 already claimed, and they're also not going to be able to find much. Obviously, a little bit of intel given. Good line coming out onto TKY. Mikey's able to find one. Rodon and Mikey continue trading back and forth. Rodon somehow finds another as well, and now it's a 3v2. Neo, little spray and pray right there, going to work out in their favor because of Valorant's precise gunplay. As Rodon finds a 4th, not going to get the ace though.
Player standing.
Neo though still alive, and there's time on this clock. Does he know though where this player is located? Not a chance. Blazer has the angle and picks up the frag. 3-1. So Cal Poly, they win the round with or going up against the bonus, but they lose against the full guns instantly thereafter. And well, giving CPP a bit of their own medicine as USF there.
Yeah, and it kind of comes down to a difference of composition here as well, right? Like having a double controller, even on attack, allows you to control the map. It allows you to default that Viper Wall A every single round, and it just gives you a little bit more space to work with. Now we're going to see a very aggressive push coming out. Nice little one-way by GameStar trying to find some value, but it's going to be the spray down coming, of course, from the overdrive. Make it 2. Chumas just running through the entirety right now of CPP's back line. Now, can they hit the front line here, knowing that maybe not hearing that they're on B?
You know what? This is Dogwater Ultimate, and I love that it's being used in this round against pistols. This is precisely how you should use that. The best possible outcome. Okay. Yeah. Chumas going to go down, but didn't have anything, so it doesn't matter. And that's what I mean. Like, great decision-making there from Chumas to use the overdrive. I love it.
Just save a little bank as the spray's going to actually get there from right. Couple of blinds landed by Dizzy, not going to be able to find any value except through the spray, through the smoke. As Chipotle guy just kind of lurking back over here right now. TKY on the re-aggress back on the flank. The flash going to come out. Only gets the half flash and going to pay the price with their life. Cake's going to find it, get traded right away. And there is the beauty that is the run and gun by Blazer. It is going to be 1-4. USF looking a lot more cohesive in this map number 3 so far on attack. Now, it's always difficult, Vincent, right? Because when I think about Lotus, I think about how it's not fully fleshed out yet as far as what comp is best, what strategies are we going to run. And so when chaos kind of ensues, I always think that leans a little bit attacker sided. So it's going to be interesting to see how many CPP can get here and see if they can bring it back. Also only having the one controller on their comp.
Honestly, I think Lotus is pretty attacker sided right now. I'm not using data to back that up, so I could be wrong, and I'm happy to admit that it's true, but I think that just from what I've seen in the collegiate space, which I've seen a lot in collegiate specifically, I feel like Lotus just kind of trends towards attacker. That said, the defense can certainly do damage, and, you know, it's not like it's a 10-2 type of thing.
Yeah.
We're not on Old Split.
Yeah, like 8-4. I think 8-4 is reasonable to expect at this point in like the collegiate space and how everything's been played. If you get 4, you're not confident, but you at least don't feel like you've thrown the whole game already. As the Killjoy lockdown is going to be burned here, going to push everybody off of that C site. But this has been a pretty hefty def regardless. So value going to be there a little bit as the congregation, the Congo line, going to be running onto A with, of course, Dion opening everything up, the slide out, and Mikey just being patient with all this noise, all the information that they're gathering right now. And there is one frag. Can they get 2? Mikey finds 2. Oh my, you have the Soul Shopper as well. Do you get 3? No, it lands on the top of the box and barely does any damage to the Omen. So now we are 3v3 looking to try to break onto site. You didn't open it up, and here's Thrash coming for you.
Yeah, Thrash, this 6 seconds, plenty of time, is going to get a detain as well. Rolling Thunder right after that seems maybe overkill to me, but regardless, with Wingman coming around the corner, those poor humans had no chance to move, shoot, or even see.
That is, that's cyberbullying. If you wanted a definition, that's it right there. You get detained. Didn't even have to burn the Rolling Thunder, right? But they didn't know that it was both detained because unfortunately the voice line isn't got 2 like it is with with certain things. It's quite literally just Thrash got him, and okay, well, let's just Rolling Thunder secure the round. It is what it is. CPP does a great job there of combining the ultimates and really just a better job of delaying. Mikey with the patience just to sit on the back line of A, as well as Chipotle guy. Hello, that is extremely aggressive and kind of just catches right out.
Yeah, I don't know what Wright was doing there. It just kind of seemed out in the open. I don't know if the mosh pit forced him out of position or what, but regardless, the outcome is a man advantage in the hands of Cal Poly. Now the lockdown's going to come through, but there's nobody in its vicinity, and so nobody has to get out of the way of it as they move over towards the A site. This is actually really only served to confirm what they already thought was the case. As Wingman moving forward, Dizzy sent out just to get the confirmation, and the Viper's Pit connected, but it's still massively advantageous for USF right now.
Not so much anymore, though, as only the Viper remains, and obviously the Pit. Good spot to be in right here, but as soon as you shoot, they know that they're there, but as soon as you shoot, you lose the potential, and yeah, just going to be a collapse onto that corner, and an easy defuse, and it's not Wingman defusing. Come on, Chipotle guy, you're better than that.
They tossed out Wingman. I don't know if they grabbed it back.
You can reclaim Wingman.
I know.
It's the key feature of Gecko is all your utility is basically infinitely reusable except for Thrash, who only gets a 2-term limit. It's like the U.S. president.
That comparison is very funny, actually. But yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's more like Wingman is the Senate. Dizzy is the House of Representatives. They don't have term limits, but the president does, and that's Thrash. And once he hits you, he has ultimate rule, right? So maybe it is. Maybe Gecko is just a reclamation or an inventive way of seeing the U.S. legislative system. There, you learned something today.
That was very creative. I'm loving this. Trubis not loving life. In fact, death bit preferable, as they will be going there. As Rodan gets the shot, at least the other direction. That's over towards A main, but Neo with continuation spray. Great stuff. You don't always see the spray control in this game, but when you do, man, it's so fun to watch.
Very reminiscent of Trent The fact that really set the guard apart was they were able to spray control Vandals extremely well. And when you see people able to get that done, it's just the stray headshot is just instant death. And it brings you so much value when you're able to win a gunfight with a Vandal at that range, because you lose to a Spectre in time to kill at that range. You lose to a Phantom in time to kill at that range if we're talking about body shots or maybe little combinations. And it's really, really difficult to get that spray transfer down. So props to Neo there, living up to the name. Of course, the chosen one from the Matrix series, doing a good job of holding it down on C. And they're going to continue to be on this site as 3 kind of continue to press a little bit. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a hard default and rotate kind of scenario. But Mikey is in that same position that we saw them get so much value out of the last time.
You want another bit of esports lore?
Yeah, let's go. Part two.
Yeah. Neo, also the name of one of the best Counter-Strike players of all time. Not this time, though. Chumas making the moves. Neo had his number last time out, so it's only fair we keep it even. Thought about going from the shadows there, did right. Busy pushing out with the help of the Omen there, Game Store, but he'll go down. It's just Chipotle guy alone.
He's not alone. He has 3 friends. Well, 2 this round, most likely. But Mosh, I think, has been used already. So we're going to see it. No, just Wingman. We're chilling on Wingman. So it's Chipotle guy and 1 friend. Okay. The 1 friend can defuse, however. So if you're able to actually get forward and get that done, at least you have something going for you. But you're going to have to clear out so many angles here. And most everybody playing off site here, obviously, our Nanoswarm's already on Spike. Fake teleport coming out as well, just to give some information away. Right, might just ego peek this, but I don't know if you do that against Chipotle guy, and I'm wrong. His
Apparently
name,
you do.
Apparently you do. Apparently you just give a little jiggle peek with a Phantom, tap ahead, call it a day. And as soon as we were talking about, how offense-sided Lotus has been in the collegiate space, everything like that, just the momentum. Even though, of course, USF did pull off that round, it's just CPP continues to claw back. And we said you get 4, you're not feeling terrible. They already have that in the bank, and it's going to be up to USF here against almost a full buy again, and Chumas probably using the overdrive to see if they can get another round.
Feels like, though, that momentum, whilst interrupted that round, isn't entirely alleviated if you're the USF side of things. They do have the overdrive, but, like I said, damn hard to use that in any real manner. They're going to try. Maybe use it through a smoke. That's actually great when you can't see opponents. Neo, though, going to make sure that it's difficult, and that's why it's trash can. Chumas trying desperately to get the kill, but Neo still alive. But TKY pushes around the corner and finds a spray down, a double spray down, but now they're alone and in trouble. Game Store pushing back around, and Mikey with the closer. Yeah, I don't know, man. Overdrive's just bad. Also, Neo's fantastic. Got 2 kills with utility that round.
I was just waiting for the alarm bot kill, which I know is not technically possible, but I was waiting for it because you got value out of the turret and the nanoswarm there. Yeah. So, I felt really bad for right there as well, because obviously you saw just the kind of collapsing of everything that happened, getting stunned, of course, by the neon just kind of clipping through the wall a little bit, and then that nanoswarm also quit through the wall just enough to kind of remove that spot. So great combo utility on kind of an awkward place that I haven't really been seen used before. I'm definitely stealing that. Probably not the neon, but the rest of it. Or, I'm sorry, it was a fault line that stunned. That's my bad.
Yeah, well, it's all good, though. I mean, good utility was the end of the day, the call and the game. Chipotle guy, that's a nice shot, and it seems like everything's falling apart awful quick here for USF at the moment. Oh, no, Mikey. That is brutal. I don't know why Blazer was looking at the blast pack, but the distraction worked is all I know.
That's a mental reset in my mind. That's like, okay, let's go next round. That's basically self-depreciating humor is what that is. And Game Store, again, like CPP currently winning 6-5. Game Store with 12 assists on Omen. It's just one of those things. You can go 1-8. You have enabled your team to get 12 kills off of your utility. And just we continue to see things like
extreme, that. A little extreme. I would like to see a little bit more from Roman, but yes,
yeah, absolutely. But 12
concept
assists,
is there.
Yeah, the concept. Rodon has the concept of clicking heads right now as well.
That's a concept I find basically alien. Can't do it to save my life, but that's not true for these players on the server. Cal Poly currently down a man, and the plant comes down via Blazer on the site.
Spike planted.
There's a Thrash ready to go.
You should
But they gotta survive long enough to pull it out. Chipotle guy is gone. And so, it being the last round of this half, it might be their undoing that they don't get to use that utility.
And I mean, the Killjoy is going to allow Chumish just to rat it out with the Judge right here as well. And look at that. Oh, Neo.
One enemy remaining.
Yep. Hello, Judge. So apparently we're running through the entire gamut of everything that is constitutional and holy about the United States. That's a teleport across. Game Store still trying to find something. But we have now officially talked about the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch on one broadcast. So
I think you may have missed your teaching as like your calling as maybe a teacher going into
possibly.
I don't know. You got the government down. That's all I'm saying. You were killing it.
The biggest problem is you get old and then you have to start worrying about that stuff.
That's true. That's true. But you know what? But you could be informing the youth. 6-6 is the scoreline that we move forward in. I think this is a pretty reasonable scoreline at that. Not bad for either team, not great for either team. I think that both teams should be happy actually where they got to this point. Of course, pistol round means because it's tied up, it's going to be pretty big as it will define who takes the momentum into the second half. As Mikey was just falling from the sky from that blast pack, went so high up.
No, I mean, you're not gonna expect him up there if you're gonna peek that angle off the rim. He's in heaven. Wait, there's not a heaven on this map.
Yeah, you crane your neck up like 95 degrees. You're like, what? How's it going up there?
How's the weather up there? God, it's so terrible when people say that. But little default coming out to see here. Of course, that Viper Wall was committed early, so that kind of control has been taken care of. It's going to be a little rotate. Chipotle guy going to find value with a headshot once again over onto the Omen. A little bit tagged up here, but it's not going to be anything that's too insane. It's 22 health. You might be able to survive a classic shot at this distance. And no, you won't. My bad. My math's wrong.
It's okay. WeCaster's not known for our math, known for the communication, which currently is great for the side of CPP. Does pull out the utility that Paranoia goes forward, and Game Store eventually takes advantage. Here's the plan. It's on the B site. Can be a death trap, but that's the problem. The death doesn't come if there's nobody to deal it, and Blazer is currently the only one left to do the dealing.
Is Mikey gonna? No, Mikey's not gonna check this though. And hey, 1v3 classic, still 25 shield. Like you get 100 HP and 25 shield. You get a little bit. I mean, getting drained down, of course, by that turret. But and here comes the aftershock. Just the delay. The delay ability here is going to be massive. The fault line coming out as well. Blazer's going to get hit by that. Defuse is basically out of the question at this point. You're just trying to find some frags. There's one on the cake. Not going to be able to get the high-low, though, as Neo gets the headshot. CPP going to take the pistol round. So you talked about that momentum swinging off. We talked about this map seeming to be attacker-sided. It's going to be time for CPP to kind of run away with this right here. We're going to see Spectres, Bulldogs, not as much of a force buy as we saw from USF after they won the pistol on offense as well.
Yeah, and by not as much, it currently looks like 0. By the way, I was talking about the HP of CPP there, just for the record. Yeah, my bad. They were low, is the point I was trying to get at. Just not very well. CPP, though, doing a good job off the back of that pistol, or at least look like they would be. Their approach towards B, though, is a bit suspicious. There's 3 players here. But Mikey, with the help of the Boombot, will find the opening pick just fine. Alongside the Paranoia, add another, chuck another extra attempt there for the Omen.
Okay, I mean, good combo again, good tradability coming out. There was no util there. It was just a little dry swing, trying to get one just in a corner. Game Store's going to find Blazer here, and this is essentially falling apart. This is the last thing that you wanted if you're USF, is the ability to not find anybody, of course. Oh, that's not find anybody on the bonus round, right? Like, you want to get a frag or 2 here or there just so they can't full buy into next. Now they just get to carry this and stack paper. Like, if you look at it right now, not even a lot of shield lost.
Yeah, that's an anti-eco round that you'll love to see if you're a fan of Cal Poly. Like, just absolutely
Stellar.
free. They are coming into this with a fantastic purchase. Well, fantastic, maybe it's a little overzealous. It's a good buy. It's not bad by any means. They have those 2 Bulldogs to work the rifles, and then the Spectres alongside those. And this is now the second round. They're putting pressure onto B early into a round. But I don't know if you've had the pleasure of talking with me about the B side on this map. It's what I like to call, in technical terms, a death trap of murder and despair.
Yeah, I was gonna call it a cluster mess to keep it PG. Just because there's just too many angles to defend from. I don't like anything that has 4 sight lines directly onto you. So it's good that they put that initial pressure just to kind of raise that doubt. And then at the same time, like Game Store with a little lurk here. Actually not going to get hit by the flash. This might be valuable soon as this, of course, Rolling Thunder comes out. Going to be able to hit 1, but that means people are going to start aggressing towards B. And you see Chipotle guy also holding the flank down. Going to find value out of that as Rodon not able to get more than 1. TKY trades abound once again, but that means the man advantage once again in favor of CPP. Until that happens, the spike is dropped. It's also been hit with the poison. So it's going to be a little bit tougher now. You're at the gun disadvantage. Blazer hasn't been touched yet. It's going to be up to the kind of this double peek here, and Blazer's actually going to lose that gunfight, and that's going to be massive right here. As Chipotle guy, we get to see Wingman plant. There we go.
First time, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointing, right? So slow on the rotation here. Really could have helped out Blazer, but instead now full 1v2. Pops through the smoke. Unfortunately, the timing doesn't work in his favor, and so Chipotle guy will have that final frag. It'll be a Cal Poly victory in the gun round as well. So 3 rounds in a row. Bonus round victory. That's a rarity at any point, but the way in which it was a flawless round in the anti-eco into the gun round victory there, that is incredible stuff. And now a lot of momentum in the favor of Cal Poly, and I think it's now time for us to talk about this is series point, in that a win here for CPP is a win overall.
Apparently Rodon is throwing now, according to his name, and that push out of B kind of confirms the name. I don't want to be too harsh on the guy, but
he said it, not you.
Yeah, that's also fair. It really just comes down to like this little B aggression is obviously good. Chipotle guy's going to find 2 and get out with his life, which is kind of ideally what you want to do, is just keep as many guns as you possibly can here. And Blazer's going to be able to at least find something here. Molly going down, a couple of stinger shots left. That's going to work out in their favor as well, as Wingman's going to go down. But Neo's going to come all the way from flank. TKY, what? No shot, USF. You do not get away with that.
Bro. Okay, let me get it out of the way first. Great round, USF. TKY, insane shots, not taking anything away. At the same time, what were they doing? CPP! What are we running to a toxic orb for? Not only the toxic orb, but there was a snake bite inside it. And then Wingman gets tossed through instead. Oh, what happened? What are these decisions?
Overzealousness again, kind of rearing its ugly head. Like, you got 2 picks on A. Like, you got 2 picks on A.
There's no reason to fight him.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to go in that direction unless to assert dominance. And guess what? Well, TKO is going to come out and get 2 back-to-back sheriff 1-taps on a flick. And it's your fault for pushing through that in the first place. Like, it's just so questionable.
Listen, there's nothing you can do about TKY there. TKY just decides to win the round by hitting. You triple swing that. And TKY just won anyway. But the push through before that was unexcusable. Regardless, I digress. We move on, as will Cal Poly. Thrash investing into this position, trying to find it. In the meantime, Chipotle goes down whilst Thrash was trying to find those positions out, and the B site is overwhelmed, but it's a 3-on-3.
And there's TKY once again with the frag, and it really, Chumas had an operator that round that was committed, so good on them. Spike carrier killed, and now we know where the location is. Mikey's able to find 1, unfortunately falls off the box, and you're not going to be accurate when that happens. TKY going to pick that up. And USF comes storming back kind of on the momentum of that Thrifty. That was a buy versus buy. And it really comes down to, like, again, like, Chipotle guy is getting that initial value, but he's not even staying alive long enough to really use Wingman. Like, I'm not seeing that utility out of the Gecko that I would really like, Vincent.
I think that we're not getting as much value as it could. It's also not bad. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of actually where a lot of the Gecko play on Lotus has been for me, is just somewhere in the middle. But all of that behind us. Remember what I said at the beginning of this map about the B site?
Yep.
I submit to you Exhibit A, B, and C. Is these last 2 rounds, 3 rounds?
Yeah. I understand putting pressure there just to kind of hold off, pushes, keep the rotations basically honest, right? At the same time, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to continue to plant somewhere that has 4 angles that you have to cover. And one of them is also, hey, it's a door that can swing and you can get some cheeky little shots off of that as well.
Yeah, like TKY getting the spam kill through that box into B main, like, it's just so nice to see that. But also unreasonable. You don't have to give the opportunities there if you are Cal Poly. Nonetheless, this is going to look a little better. Chumis does hit the shot, gets blinded, hit with the Rolling Thunder, but still, Rodan finds the shot onto the entering Neo. Rather not a shot, just the Nano Swarm doing its work. The spike is left in the open. Cal Poly wanted to rotate, but they realized that they have no ability to do so. Oh, I love that play. That was such a smart play, using it from the shadows to pop out and then peeking behind it in order to get that frag and equalize things.
Oh, I mean, just extremely smart job. And still, Spike not secured. Blazer is going to do everything they can to secure the round here. Paranoia going to come from the back as well. And good luck getting through this one and getting the plant down on time as Rodon's able to find another. And USF comes storming back, and it's been the story of momentum. And it's really just up to USF to hold on here for long enough. It's been 3 rounds straight, including the bonus for CPP. USF comes swinging right back, gets 3 of their own, and we're notched right back up at evens. And it's going to be an eco right now. And if Cake is serious right now with buying a Vandal and no shields and completely destroying his own econ, he obviously is going to force a Stinger next round too, because that's just what we've seen out of Cake.
I really don't love this. Like, the Stinger buy on round 2, like, that's sort of reasonable because they also have bad econ. Like, the other team also isn't going to be with rifles mostly. That sort of makes sense. This, though, I don't know. I'm a little less okay with it, but they're not asking me. They're playing the game, and they're making the moves. They've been doing good with it before. To be fair, CPP's up 2-0 in this best of 5.
Bye-bye.
It's just timing different, and they don't even check to see if Wright is there. Wright's going to get the spike down as well. Shots down onto Mikey, who's been carrying the spike as duelist, I want to say at least half the rounds. Now Chumis is just sitting here with a shorty as soon as that spike gets grabbed. Oh, okay, Neo gets 1, sitting in between the smokes, and Wright's just going to spray through it, and that kind of fell apart as soon as it started. Obviously, again, I don't want to hype anything up too much because it was an eco round, right? At the same time, you still had Cake buy a Vandal, and so now he has to go Bulldog and Light Shields here with $50, and I don't even know, is he full util at least?
Probably with the Bulldog.
I would hope so.
I mean, look, they've lost 4 rounds in a row, so...
I mean, loser's bonus is there, but loser's bonus aside, why are you dragging a Bulldog into an eco? Or a buy round, and it's just because you bought a Vandal with no shields.
I mean, I'm right there with you. The question, not one that we can answer in this case, but the Bulldog, listen, great gun. Just gotta let it bark. It's that simple.
It can have a lot of bark, but if it doesn't bite, then it doesn't matter. It really depends on how you use it here. And we don't have a Sage, so even if the Bulldog barks, it's still not getting healed.
That's true. Not getting the heals, that's fair enough. A couple of ultimates, though, for Cal Poly to use in this round. Showstopper being one of them. Potential to set the pace. Rodan, though, really setting a bit of a dangerous precedent there by swinging that angle. Popping out. Dizzy doesn't find anything on the initial swing. It's going to be the lockdown invested. I think Wright's going to go for this duel, and this Paranoia is going to hit everybody, I think. Showstopper pulling it out. It doesn't actually connect, but it buys enough time for Mikey to pull the gun back.
And we have the Venn diagram right now of course, the lockdowns, as Blazer's going to be able to find one. Chumas finds one as well. Spike Carrier is killed, so another round where the spike is going to have to be retrieved. And how do you get away with that, TKY? That's insane. Unfortunately, he flashes, actually gets a confirmed flash as well, but he does not spot Neo, who's just going to sit here, knows that they're behind the box. But TKY wins those, and he wins another one for good measure. USF saying never say die, 2 away from continuing the series.
They are so good at finding those high impact moments for TKY. Absolutely insane with those, and a timeout being caused or pulled out by that round. And I mean, is it a little too late for this? Probably not, but also I don't think their money is in a position to buy either.
Yeah, and I think this is just a regroup kind of timeout. You're not really worried about the buy. Again, you talked about the French save earlier. Might be another situation of that. But the way I kind of see it right now is this is the first time that CPP and Cal Poly has really been pushed, right? Like almost to the brink at this point. They're one off a match point. So I think it's a good time to get your wits about you, just take a breath, kind of focus on what's going on. Also, while we have the 15 seconds remaining in this timeout, I just want to mention that Fisher has won 3-0 and they're moving on to the final. So the winner of this series is actually getting to keep that CECC slot that's happening in Arlington, of course, in May. The winner of this game gets to go to that for free. Like, it doesn't matter if you beat Fisher or not. You get to retain that spot because Fisher's already qualified for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually huge. The best teams in Collegiate Valorant are pretty much all going to be there. I mean, I'm thinking all of the top 10 teams that I know about right now are pretty much qualified. So, Mizzou actually being a big exception to that, unfortunately. They got the Northwood treatment again.
Happens.
It does happen. They're just... Poor Mizzou are just in the same division as Northwood, and so they get trolled. Nonetheless,
is it trolling or is Northwood just better?
I mean, they're just better, but everybody else just has to be like beatable teams instead of the literal world champions. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Chumas gonna miss a shot. That's thanks to Dizzy being put in a good position. And Thrash ready to go once again. This is a very important round for Cal Poly, and Thrash will be felled.
Sir, they've killed the president. Now you have to deal, of course, with the rest of the legislature as they are able to claim some space on site, and Neo's actually able to find some shots with the Stinger. Of course, Chuma's kind of having to fall off here as well. Sees one jump, knows that there's a lot of noise on water. Has the opportunity to take out Wingman if they're going to plant here, but Thrash coming back out. Thrash going to be taken down once again. It's Wingman going to get the plant down potentially. It's going to be Chumas. Oh my, what a flick onto a jumping Neo. And yes, they're planting. It doesn't seem to matter. Cake's going to be able to find one with that Stinger, though. This is there. And Rolling Thunder's going to be committed as well. They are really trying to win this round on the eco. It's now going to be the 2v2. Chipotle guy finds another. Chumas gets one. Not able. Oh! I didn't see him reload beforehand. I thought they only had one shot in the clip. Luckily enough, Chumas able to pull that out with a shorty and a slide, and USF is on match. I'm sorry, excuse me. They're on map point to keep themselves alive.
Match point.
That's outrageous. I mean, any other agent other than Neon, it's just a real 1v1. Instead, it's just a free 1v1 because of the timing. Chumas able to get to the planter before the spike can get initiated. Insanity. That was an eco, but the money is perfectly good for USF. Cal Poly basically got to win 3 gun rounds in a row to push this to OT.
And against strong economy, right? To where the fact that it is going to be 3 full gun rounds, but Rodon has, oh my, okay. Brought out the judge regardless, gets his value out of it, gets taken down by a game store. And I just want to say, Vincent, you kind of missed an opportunity to say a free V1, as you can call it with Neon in that situation.
I did. Darn. Oh, missed opportunities. I'll have to do better next time. Seekers are gonna go out. Kind of like to follow that, but the flashpoint on the other side really makes it difficult to follow up. So for that, even more trading of utility. This time it's flashpoint for the Trailblazer. Okay, why though? Getting a bit overzealous and ends up punished for the trouble. Overdrive available, same from the Shadows. Two of the more difficult ultimates to find value out of though. With 45 seconds left, it's 3-on-3. CPP have their choice of the site.
They do have their choice of the site to go hit, but Chumis is actually holding an operator directly outside of A and might be able to find something here. Yep, there's Chumis. He says, what's up? I'm holding this with an op. You've already lost on B how many times? So we know you're going to rotate. Let's go ahead and do that. Nice little jump spot right there by Chumis. Answers directly back, of course. Another jump spot coming out, and Chumis is just bailing. He's like, yeah, you know what? They only have 15 seconds. We can get something done here. As the overdrive going to be committed, just spray downs happening all over the place. Unfortunately, the hand runs out of juice, and Emperor Palpatine has been cut down. It's Game Store trying to get the plant down to keep CPP alive. The trade is there. That's going to be it. That's a huge shot by Blazer. USF manages to stay alive.
That is outrageous. First map, it was a big victory for CPP, but this one, just the biggest for USF. They make sure not only to win that map, to keep themselves in it, but it's on Cal Poly's own pick of Lotus. That sets things up brilliantly for the rest of this series to possibly hit to a 5th map, because Icebox is coming up next, and USF is elected to bring us there.
Yeah, and I mean, if Icebox is their map, that's great, and that's going to play very different from the rest of the maps that we've seen so far today. I think that's the most exciting part about this, Vincent, is we're going to see a dramatic change of pace, if not only just because the map's actually bigger, to be honest with you. So USF getting their map pick has the opportunity to send this to 5. We're going to see if they're going to be able to convert, but I think Vincent and I need a little bit of a break after that one. So we're going to be right back after this. Icebox coming up in between, of course, Cal Poly and USF, thank you. I just totally blanked. That's why we need a break. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.
So that's worth it. Did I get too close to the camera on that one? A little bit too close. Should I back up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that. My bad. I've been awake for probably close to 32 hours. Like, I have to hold my keyboard the normal way, because if I do it, I feel like I have arthritis, and I hold my keyboard like that. It blows my mind. I can never do that. This guy right here, he's got his keyboard off at an angle. His isn't that extreme. There's a kid all the way down to the far end who has his keyboard all the way at a horizontal. That's really cool. They're gonna be at that table right over there. Public information? Oh, I don't know. This isn't live, so it doesn't matter. It's not live, but you and I know. Yeah, we know. I'm not gonna tweet it. Awesome. What game do you play? Smash Bros. Who do you play? Is it embarrassing? Is it like Villager? Yeah. Is it Villager? Am I spot on? Oh my god. Is it the Ice Climbers? No. Is it Game & Watch? No. Is it Pichu? No. Is it Wario? No. I can keep going. I think I can name every character in the game. I believe in you. Is it, did I say the Ice Climbers already? Yeah, you said them. Is it them? Not them. Is it them a second time? No. Okay, alright. Oh, is it one of the links? Yes, it is. Is it Toon Link? It is. Oh, that is pretty embarrassing. That is rough. Who do you play?
I'll give you $20 if you guess correctly right now.
First try? Give me a single hint.
It's an obscure character.
Obscure character.
Not played very often.
Is it Wii Fit Trainer? Oh my god! Oh my. I'm the interviewer for a reason, baby. I do what I do. I don't need the money. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it. So Bowser Jr., Wii Fit, and I forgot already. Are you all lying to me? Am I being gaslit? No. Bowser Jr., Wii Fit, and you told me already. Oh, Toon Link. Yep. Where's my main support at? Who are we playing this weekend?
A lot of Brig.
A lot of Brig, really?
Brig Lucio, probably.
Brig Lucio, really? I shouldn't say that too loud. I don't want to give all your strategies. It's over-under?
What do you mean over-under?
Like, do we think we're going to podium? Do we think we're going to come in last place?
Not last place.
Not last place?
Certainly not last.
What about, 5th place?
That's doable.
That's doable? That's winnable? 3rd place?
Third
That's where things get dicey?
That's very doable.
Okay.
First place? That's very doable.
First place, very doable. Love it. That's the mindset. That's what he loves to hear. Yeah. Oh my god. Hold on. Cut the cameras. Well, who are you? Hello. Oh my god. I saw you earlier. I saw the back of your shirt. And I was like, I know that name. I know him. It's a quick play game. They Q-sniped each other at land. I thought it was a scrim. It's just unlucky. Are you actually a Villager player? Yeah. How do you feel about Villager being notably worse in Smash Ultimate than they were in Smash 4?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? You never played Smash 4?
No.
Oh, that's all right. Nobody's gonna hold that against you. Who do you play?
I play Robin.
Okay, wow. Did you know Robin has the lowest pick rate in the game?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Come on, the LEDs, it looks just like Samus.
Huh?
Do you disagree?
I guess I can see
The
it.
Samus vibe. Show the controller to the camera. We're interviewing. This is recording, by the way. Surprise.
Not my controller.
Who do you play?
I play Peach.
Oh, wow, I like that. Who do you play?
I play the Shotos, mostly Kazuya.
No, you lose against Kirby. That's just like a statistics thing.
Yeah. It's maybe.
This is a death match. I think they're all in the same one. They're all on Icebox. Are they all in the same death match? Maybe. Who knows? I feel like none of them can hear me. I want to like approach somebody, but no one can hear. They all have both their headphones on.
What's up?
How do we think we're doing?
I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
What's your KD?
We're looking at 10 and 6 right now.
Oh, hey, that's third, dude. That's better than I expected. Who's bottom frag right now? I want to go talk to them. Ian? Hey, how do you think we're doing so far?
It could be better.
Could be better? You're one of those rough days?
Well,
Let's go find more people to harass. Yeah. Where's Boise State? Who's your favorite to play?
Oh, right now it's got to be either Chamber or Breach.
What country is Cypher from?
Oh, dude. It's Moroccan, right?
It is Morocco! Oh my god, I didn't think anyone was gonna get that. Oh, you're good. You're good. Alright, see you later. Let's go harass Boise State more. Who is this? What school is this? Boise?
This is Boise.
Oh man, that's okay. Boise's still got really good odds. A Large Bagel, one of their tank players, Nerdy Bird, they're off tank. Both of them not here. A little bit scary, if we're being honest. Getting warmed up, getting ready to cast some players. No, okay, not cast, interview. Change your mindset, change your mindset.
Words.
No, but last words until we come back.
Oh, okay.
Because we're leaving.
Enjoy.
Oh, that was good, that was good. Anything from you?
How are we doing, Polly?
Awesome, thank you so much for your time.
That's why we're here, right? This is why a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do we replicate what you guys are doing? How do we, how do they do what you guys are doing to a degree, or why are you guys doing what you're doing to a degree? But to kind of, I think, focus in then a little bit more, I want to talk about gameplay a little bit before we jump into business and all of the other stuff. Jensen, this one's for you, right? I want to talk a little bit about this because to someone like me who's traditionally a League of Legends fan and all that, I know that you've been a coach that's been, all over the world. You've worked with a lot of different professional teams and different regions. My question, I think a lot of people want to know, how did you end up at Maryvale, and why a North American collegiate college? What was the draw, or what brought you here? How did you get to this point?
When I first came to NA, I worked with Immortals, with the academy team, and I realized that there's a lot of cultural challenges that exist that's very unique to NA and esports, right? Where there's this very interesting intersection, because unlike traditional sports, in esports, players, they don't start training under a structure or a system or a coach from a very early age, which is what happens if you want to pick up any other sport, right? Like you start going to community events or whatsoever, and then you start developing your skills and your literacy of the game from the age of 6 or 7, and you're very used to working in a team environment, a coaching environment. But in esports and for League of Legends, a lot of times players, they go through they go up, they climb the ranks in solo queue where everything is basically self-taught, and then all of a sudden they need to be placed into a team environment. And I realized that this is something that the Asian teams got right, where they had these B teams. They have the B houses in Korea and Taiwan. You would spend almost close to a year just being a understudy or training
Hello and welcome back to Esports U. Of course, I'm Visionary One. Alongside me for this wild ride has been Vincent, and USF has turned this into a bit of a series.
That they have. We really were looking, I think, at the line to be CPP, just a little bit better of a team. They were winning. They were on the winning train, I felt like. And I was there with them. I was pulling into the station. I loved it. It was up until there was a very specific point, and I think you and I both know it, was where USF, they took advantage of CPP kind of doing a bit of tossing on a very what was an inconsequential round that turned the tide and started the comeback, and that momentum never swung back the other way in the favor of Cal Poly. They lost at that point, and they continued to lose. Ultimately, USF picking up that map, and props to them. TKY as well stepped up big time, and the other side of that is Chumas, who was simply fantastic. So many times I feel like a player on the Neon would get a little over aggressive with the operator. Never did. Just always was holding space. It was great.
I'm just casual restraint, right? Like, hey, you gave me A. We know you like to kind of default B and just kind of feel out B to start off with. So I'm just going to hold the one angle that you can push out of. And I know you're not going to flash me because I haven't done this yet. And I literally clutched them the final round, the penultimate round in that map. So we're going to see USF actually get their own pick, which is Icebox. So, I mean, obviously already Poly has taken, or Cal Poly Pomona has already taken one of South Florida's maps, with it being Haven as the second map. We're going to see this kind of swing back the other direction now. Can South Florida kind of hold their ground and send this to map number 5? Because the stakes for this just got exponentially higher. You win this game, you're on to CECC. That is massive in and of itself. You get to play against the best Valorant players, or the collegiate Valorant teams that there are in the country. And so allowing yourself to go ahead and do that, it's going to be definitely interesting to see if South Florida can hold on under the pressure.
Yeah, and it looks like pretty standard picks. I'm looking desperately as things are going away, but I think the only difference that I saw is that what specific duelist they're on.
Yep, Jet versus Raze again.
Yeah, so and I've been gifted by our fantastic producer Leighton. Yeah, Jet and Raze, the only difference in these compositions. This makes sense, though. It's interesting that it's kind of swapped up. Mikey's been like the Raze dedicated main this whole series. Now on the Jet, and it's TKY to go on the Raze, who hasn't played the Raze ever on this series. It's very funny to see that swap up, but doesn't really matter. Just a funny notion to me. Also, TKY, props for the amount of different agents been played throughout this at this point. Played Jet the first couple of maps, but then went over to a Sky in the last one. Now over to the Raze.
Yeah, the Raze, obviously. I really like Raze on Icebox just for plant denial purposes. As we kind of go into a little bit of a tech pause here. Apparently we have a small issue, so we're going to go ahead and get that solved up for you guys. But I think anything that you can do to delay the spike from being planted on Icebox is just a net positive. And that's something that Jet unfortunately doesn't give you, that Killjoy does.
Yeah, that's
or not
fair.
Killjoy, I'm sorry, Raze does.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind as I see the KJ on the screen.
Wait, what? Where is this gun from? This is just a Glock.
Yeah. Oh, it's from a game that has, a historical notion in tactical FPSs, as a nice double swing comes out, and it's going to be a 4v4 retake. Hello, Icebox. We're already playing Retake Simulator.
Yeah, we are. It is indeed it is the fun part of Icebox. It's also the difficult part of Icebox. A little bit of some good movement from TKY to get out of that. Pushing forward, though. 4-on-4. TKY going to be in a very difficult to read spot, I think, is the way that I would describe it. This orb, you don't necessarily expect it, but Mikey does. Pulls out the body shots. More body shots as Mikey finds Shumas. Trying to tap. Already got the half, and, well, Chipotle guy will find the final frag. Plenty of time for the defuse. It felt like there was like 6 frags that came out at the same time there.
It was. The right click actually somehow found 2. I definitely love it when that happens, when you just right click and 2 bullets hit one person and kill them, and then you get the stray bullet over off to the side, and it's just like, hey, I'm gonna get a frag too. And you're
free
like,
gun.
Thanks, Classic, you're great.
Just free gun, by the way.
Yeah, free gun, absolutely free. Obviously CPP taking the round there, able to get, the defuse. Just, it was chaos and pandemonium kind of in the front. I really like the idea by TKY to play near that orb, as kind of something that you wouldn't expect in general. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out with him because Mikey's just completely allowed to body shot bury everybody in the server, with that Sheriff noting that nobody bought shields on the other side. So
indeed,
indubitably.
Thank you, CPP. A little bit of a setup here towards the A side. 3 players to be precise. TKY making the moves in, and yeah, that's definitely one way to set the tone. TKY finding another frag as well on that stinger. The plant will fall down as Wright puts him in position. Mikey will eventually find TKY, but now very winnable for USF.
Super winnable. You've got man advantage. You have the nano swarms. You have the snake bites. You have a ton of utility. And Rodon going to be able to get one here as well. Okay, so we're going to see some snake bites probably dropping. Actually, that one missed. You might want to just go ahead and push this if you can, if you're CPP, but they are not willing to, as the rain just falls down that we call, you know, every single utility that's throwable. Right's going to be able to just spray it through the wall, so that doesn't really matter much. Chipotle guy's going to find one. Now playing Viper? Chipotle's agent swing has been crazy as well. Chumis goes ahead and finds this. The force buy is going to be successful. They end up pulling out 2 guns, and on top of that, you're going to be able to roll into next with probably, you know, light shields, vandals, maybe some bulldogs coming out, but it's going to be a full save coming out from CPP.
Yeah, that is true. Props to Chipotle guy for being so flexible. Was on the initially was on the Fade, then went to the Sova, then went to the Gecko. Now on
the Viper.
The Viper, yeah, craziness. But a big round for USF. They won against the full buy there, and they bought what they could, but TKY really was the hero of the round, picking up the double kill to find the entry, allowed Right to put the spike down, and from there it was just about hanging on to that advantage TKY had so valiantly created.
Nice little spot there from the Owl drone. Going to be able to get one, and the shock dart's not going to find any value from the Sova. Actually, I swear that just went through Chumis, but I mean, I guess you take those if you're a USF fan.
Yep.
Everybody is aggressing back onto the site, and it's looking like a potential rotate here. If you could throw Viper's wall back up and maybe give the idea that you're pushing up, you might be able to catch just about everybody, but that lurk mid is in fact coming. But do they have the weaponry to really hold anyone off? So that's going to be there. It's kind of a fake on the fake, and they realize that the dart spotting just one individual, it's all it needs for CPP to come rushing back towards the site, and Rodan gonna finally get the opening pick. I think we're 35 seconds in. They finally found one.
Oh, this seems like a very reasonable round to win now for CPP. Rodan, healthy as always, going to be able to find that frag. Wall broken down. First shot, that's Game Store having the connection and picks up the second as well. There's plenty of time to wait out the Viper utility. And so this buy back and forth, and honestly not even a really significant buy from CPP in that round, is back-to-back thrifties. It's really impressive. I mean, this game starting out about as crazy as we saw back on Haven.
Yeah, just back and forth we go where we stop. Nobody knows. Rodan we're gonna have a force up from USF here.
Same thing. I mean, they did it before. Why not? It worked.
I mean, it worked, but you were going against Spectres last time. You weren't going against Rifles last time, so a little bit interesting to me.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, but at the same time, you have to bet on yourself, and I think that USF deserving of a lot of respect for it.
I can't disagree with you there. They definitely deserve the respect, but respect is only earned, right? So they're going to have to win this round and prove why buying is a good idea here. At least just about everybody is. The Owl drone actually going to be blocked off here. I don't think that's going to spot anybody. Mikey's definitely not spotted. He's going to have a very strong position up here in Nest. And no value found out of it just yet, as everybody kind of just defaults. Everybody is so close, as Wright has a good position here as well. But that Stinger just unfortunately not going to be able to land any shots, as we see it kind of backing off right now of the aggression. It's going to be a push back towards mid, and you have a couple people still sitting there. And obviously KJ, Neo still just kind of zealously sitting on site, just being patient, doing their job.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of a Killjoy, is that you can kind of stick to your utility out and it be the one to catch the information early on. Wall goes out, trying to catch across in mid. Now there's going to be Snakebite in position to deny that. TKY thinking about going through, but a re-aggression back over to A, realizing that things aren't looking so good outside of the A site. And actually, that rotation has done well to find some open positioning. Blaze will get the spike down, and well, nobody's there.
Not only is nobody there, the Killjoy lockdown gets to get used as well. So you have two options. You either push it and try to break it, and that's not going to happen with the time dwindling down. So that's another 10-15 seconds that's off the spike, and now you have the molly positioning coming up with the snake bites that you're going to have to deal with. There's the orb, there's everything else. It's going to go ahead and land as well. So the delay is on right now, as Rodan almost gets sprayed to death and somehow is just ratting here in place. Going to be spotted, not able to find the utility. Of course, we have shock darts coming out as well, but Blazer's going to be picked off, and I think at this point we got to be throwing those from down below, unfortunately, and not on the actual part of nest, or I'm sorry, the back stairs over there. You have to be able to get that molly from a safe position instead of having to peek.
You know, that's a really fair point, but at the same time, I don't think it mattered that round, but it will certainly matter moving forward. Nonetheless, CPP, they've won the force buy duels here, but it looks like USF not done with the force buys. They're going to go again. And to be fair, they lost a round. They get a little bit extra cash because of the loss bonus, and on top of that, they got a spike planted. So I at the one hand, I'm like, well, this is a bad idea because 5 survived for CPP, so their money isn't at all broken or busted. At the same time, though, I'm kind of like, well, you know, USF, you're right. You can get mostly a good buy. Why not do it?
I mean, you're playing in the losing position right now. You still have to make up a map, and sometimes doing that requires bold choices. So with that being said, USF kind of putting their money where their mouth is and just willing to gamble it on these pushes, and obviously a lot more space taken up mid. This is actually going to be a great lurk coming up from Rodan. They're able to find the value out of it, and it's just a barely crossing pass, but unfortunately the turret is going to be there, so Rodan's going to be basically frozen out in that position until they decide to fire off a shot. They haven't done it yet, though, so this is going to be a nice little lurk, cheeky, especially if you can find the pick onto Neo, as Mikey's able to find one on the A site and bail off as well. So Game Store still holding that one down. As we look at the push right now, Wright's going to go ahead and revive TKY, and we're going to see if they're going to rotate off this, and it's looking like they certainly are. That Viper's pushing up B long, might meet some resistance.
Actually, I don't think it's going to be the Viper that's in trouble. It's actually Neo that might be having the difficulty, but does get the frag on the player that pushed up the tube. We'll find another one here. This timing couldn't be more perfect for Cake. First frag is theirs, looking for more. Right, gonna swing around, and Cake has it. Chipotle guy with 2 more, and it's all over. Blink of an eye, and then you're done. USF, they didn't win a single damn fight, and they had 6 opportunities to do so.
Back-to-back flawlesses is not a good look on double force buys back-to-back. Like, obviously, loss bonus going to help you out a little bit, but not ideal for USF, of course, especially on their map pick, right? Like,
they got another plant, though.
They did get another plant. Did they force again? Are we running the Sentinels light shield strat? Are we running the meta light shield strat right now? Because the opportunity is there. 2 Bulldogs, all the utility in the world that you could want to buy. And light shields, it's there. I mean, Rodan, I can kind of see. No.
I'd probably save this as well. I would probably save this, to be fair.
Yeah, just like, hey, it hasn't worked twice. We don't want to dig ourselves a massive hole. You know, like
also, like, they aren't even nearly as close to a full buy as they were last round.
That's fair too.
Hunter's Fury. This is what I like to call going fishing. Unfortunately, the fish aren't biting. Or at least they aren't biting fully. A little bit of damage done. Moving through those toxic screens, though. And somehow, some way, the pit went down, but the pit placer has been put down.
It certainly has. Game Store's going to just be able to get away by using the wall, but not going to be able to run away from Chumas. And TKY is going to find Mikey as well. And hey, maybe the whole secret the whole time was to actually save, because you pulled something out of nothing.
USF, if they convert this round, will have only won eco rounds in this game thus far. I mean, or a half by round, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling them eco rounds, because in the game of Valorant, you really never fully eco. So, to me.
I mean, honestly, let's just call them less than rounds. Your buy is less than your opponent's.
That is no more wrong than anything else I've said.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but one of them bought a Bulldog. Like, I'm tired of arguing about semantics. Like, it's an eco, bro. Like, a Bulldog that ADSs and can only shoot 3 bullets at a time, and you have to get a headshot and a body shot out of it to be able to kill somebody.
Whoa.
You know?
I need you to put some more respect on the Bulldog here.
Look,
okay?
I'm not saying it's not viable. I'm just saying the skill gap to use that gun effectively versus a Vandal or a Phantom is quite large. That's all.
You're right. Clearly, Bulldog users are more skilled.
This
That's
just come for you to advocate for yourself.
I know.
Obviously, Mikey has an operator on this angle, but Jesus, is everything about you? I mean, I guess we're casters. Everything's about us, right?
We'll go with that. Having a good time. We are. I hope that USF are having just about the same much amount of fun. Though right now, they struggled on these purchase rounds. They have one here, but they're in a really good spot. They've got 3 players up the tube, and they're in position now to crunch towards B if they need to. But they're just waiting. They want to have somebody get aggressive, and they've been gifted that, but Chipotle hits the shot anyway.
I mean, is it a surprise that Chipotle gets the shot there? Somehow Game Store is actually able to get out, not taking any damage as well. TKY is going to make Chipotle pay. And there's Mikey with that operator thriving on the long angles. Make it 2, gets the shot on TKY. Try to go ahead and blast back up there. That's going to be shut down. Mikey's going to be spotted. Misses the shot. Blazer's going to swing this back. And there you go. Game Store is going to be able to get 1. Are you going to be able to get 2? No, it's Rodon now in a 1v2. Going to cover the angle with the turret. See what they can get. And oh, there is the jump. There is the shake. There is the fear coming out. Neo finding it, of course, through the grates in between the back of the site there. And right by that nest on B site. And the op is recovered as well. The econ's looking good, but USF still has a buy in their hands.
You can't forget about the snowman. Always forget about the snowman position. It's tough. Nonetheless, 5-2 USF. Yeah, I mean, this is a good buy. They're in position to make this work. But that operator from Mikey was oh so deadly in that last round. Extra points for the headshot on that second guy as well. Early utility being put out already. Oh, and that is a lot of info. 4 players hit with a recon bolt, and both nanoswarms already used by Rodon.
Your post-plant utility is gone. Chipotle is just going to rat out the wall. Some more extra spots there as Rodon just tries to get something. So they're going to be in a 1v2 now. Like, obviously, you get the plant down. You have a Hunter's Fury to work with. As Chumis trying to make something out of nothing here. Now in a 1v2. So it's isolated just enough. His Cake is going to be over the top.
I think
they
Cake knows.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, and the Blade Storm, one would argue, or could argue, I would say, that that's a waste. I say absolutely not. Just confirmation that that round goes your way wasn't necessary in that case, but Mikey just trying to make sure that things are all solidified is not a bad thing in my book.
You just don't want to get the opportunity to lose the operator, right? Because if that 1v2 turns into a 1v1 and you're trying to slow peak that angle, and Chumis obviously has been a good shot this entire series, you give up that and then you're in a 1v1 with I believe it was Silva, who had like 46 health last round. So you're talking about taking a 1v1 into we're basically even again. You don't want to do that when you're already up 5-2. You've already worked so hard to build up that lead. Burning the ult there to secure is the smart thing to do.
That it is. Smartness continuing though here, but it's for UCF. The opening pick for right as they move forward through mid. This is going to be interesting. Position for Chipotle guy is just not good enough. Blazer has the frag and right covering off Blazer's retreat, or rather fully committed now to this spot. It seems like this round is so fast. What were we, 15, 20 seconds in before the spike got planted?
We might have made it to 13. It was speedy. It was speedy to say the least. As I mean, just Neo being kind of surrounded. Oh, okay, Rodon. Jump at him. I mean, apparently he came to get down. He came to get down, so he got out of his seat and he jumped around. And they're gonna let Neo just find more frags, which is the exact opposite of what you do. You've been in the cycle of sin and deliverance, literally just trying to force buy or buy up every round. Why are you just kind of throwing guns away at that point is my question. I mean, I understand spotting them is important, but the second one swings completely unnecessary.
I mean, at the end of the day, are those going to matter that much? Actually, maybe, but we'll have to see. This next round, though, going to be what determines that. Money to buy into it. They are actually going for a couple of half shields unnecessarily. And that actually will matter because look, there's 3 phantoms on the other side. So
they might be carrying it over from the last round though, because 3 did live.
I mean, yeah, but you just rebuy.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. I'm just saying if you're worried about economy, I guess that's one way you can do it. But the phantom always deadly, you know. So is an operator versus light shields, but Mikey's not able to land the shot.
It was on target, was just moving when he took the shot, unfortunately. Back to his B side. Has been unsuccessful at A, USF, but now at B, they've been finding some work. Unfortunately, though, the spike's still yet to be planted as the pit goes down.
Committing the pity here is fine, but you actually don't have any space, and Mikey's able to take advantage of that with a close shot. Neo's actually going to spam Blazer through the pit. Wright's able to find one here, but you have to find 4 more to pull this out of the ashes, and right now everybody's just being patient, they're being smart. There's the spot. Hey, Wright finds one. You have a heal, you have a res if you can find potentially one more, but I think the pinch is going to come out. Well, there's the bait. There's a swing, and Game Store and Neo able to find both. You burn the res in that situation in a 1v4. I understand trying to kind of get the swing and isolate your 1v1s. It just doesn't work out.
Listen, Fisher, it's 7-3. You got to go for it. I feel like at this point. Like also, you got to keep in mind it's semifinals, and you're up against the wall. I mean, it's 2-1 in the series. You lose the map, you lose the game, you lose the series. It's all over. Your season's done, and you don't get to go to LAN. So, like, I think it's worthwhile. You gotta give it your best shot. Unfortunately, the best wasn't quite enough there. USF will give it another go. That is ambitious from Mikey. It's very, very punished. Down low HP, but the push continues. TKY has found very significant success in this position, especially with the Stinger. Hunter Suri back and forth. It's 1-for-1, but Chumis finds Mikey in the meantime, and there's actually no response on the other side for CPP.
Yeah, and they still have no response. This Killjoy is basically going to just confirm the plant for them. They are waiting this out, of course, but I would like to see them get the plant down just a little bit earlier within the process, just because it does cover most of screens, and you can't be peeked if you're at least planning from a right angle. And there is the opponent Killjoy. So we're going to see, of course, the Molly lineups. You're going to see the snake bites coming out, but actually the lockdown is destroyed, and Wright's able to find a frag on Neo from a lurk. That's massive, but 2 traded right on back. 3v3 retake. Res in hand as well for CPP. That's going to be huge, and Cake's going to get the shock dart. He knows geometry.
Oh, and the half already gained. I mean, they're just sticking on it. Game Store has the defuse. It's all over. See you later. And what looked like a good round for USF is just instantly denied by CPP. They are in a commanding position right now. Remember, the first 2 maps taken by CPP, both 8-4 score lines at halftime.
Do we see history repeat itself, or do we see the Fnatic versus Loud happen?
Oh, I don't know, but
yeah,
I would be down. I would be down.
I'm obviously down because it's USF's map pick, and I would honestly think.
Oh, they lined up! They lined up, but Mikey missed.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. That's every Jet's wet dream right there, and it's just gone. It's gone. It's so sad. But
I'm so devastated for Mikey on their behalf. Like,
oh my. I mean, the opportunity obviously there, just unfortunate as we're gonna...
Opportunity?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know my father was here, but yeah. As Blazer actually able to find a pick onto Cake, so A site actually completely free right now. This should be a free plant if they're able to get there in time. Unfortunately, it's not looking like they will. It's Mikey gonna hop up Raptors with the operator, take the early aggression, take the pick as well. So Mikey, although he didn't get the 3K collateral, he will at least find some value out of that operator. The plant's gonna be just delayed by that much, and oh well, you know what, you can peek through a wall slowly and Mikey will find you again.
Oh, and he's gonna get another one here if this goes down. Oh, but great headshot there from Blazer. That's gonna really save things for USF, or at least potentially will. Resurrection coming through. Game Store bringing Mikey back to life, though the welcome wagon isn't so welcoming. Paint shells is all he gets in the hello basket. Chipotle guy, though, hits that first shot. Wright's there for a trade. It's towards Neo, though. So Chipotle still alive in the flank, and Game Store already going to be committing to get the halfway mark. Dodges on the first shot. That wall, though, not effective as Chipotle takes out the pistol. Tries to pull back and hits the second attempt. It's Chipotle once again in the clutch with a 3K.
Do you believe in curses? Are you a little bit stitious, I guess is what I'm asking, because we get to see the 9-3 scoreline. You said every single game that USF has lost has been 8-4. Well, guess what? This one isn't 8-4.
That's true. On paper, it's better, but I mean, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? You know, there's multiple curses at play here as well. Of course, we have a wonderful member of our production team that seems to always be on for long matches. So maybe we see it, maybe we don't. It's going to be, the onus is on USF to really go ahead and convert this. And Icebox obviously being what I would call a defender-sided map, obviously not really having that mid presence there exclusively. A little bit difficult to push through, but I mean, it's tough sledding ahead. You got to get 6 just to even up. So bonus on USF. Let's see if you can convert a bonus. Let's see what you can get. I fully expect USF to start the force buys out once again. And that's actually a really good paint shell. Unfortunately, doesn't push all the way through the site, as they kind of know that there's a ton clustered here. It's just, do they know how many is Neo's able to find an opening frag?
Well, it's also just about winning these duels. And Cake done it already. Chipotle guy has found another. That was a player that was aggressive towards mid. A little right clicking just for good measure. Going to get punished. His head ripped off by Right in that endeavor. 1 on 4, though. He's already got the first. Right needs more.
He definitely needs more, and it's just going to be the slow, casual play. Is he going to be able to really make it through anything here? Okay, so no hole in the wall to worry about. Knows that Neo is there. This is probably going to be double swung for certain, and the double swing is going to beat the Sheriff, as Cake is able to secure 3. CPP going to go up 10-3. Did not mean for that to run, but it did. It's going to be another force buy coming out from USF, and this is a round that they won. Like you said, 2 out of the 3 rounds that they won on the opposite side were ecos.
Yeah, that's you know, on the one hand, it's like great, like that's really cool. On the other hand, when that's all you're winning, that's not so cool. In fact, it's bad, very bad. So with that said, USF with another opportunity here on the eco, but this time it's on the attack. Headed towards the B site for the time being, RCPP. And they will, it looks like, be walking into a pretty significant stack. There's mid control gathered by this KJ, and now 3 players on the B site ready to defend.
Yeah, and on top of that, Chipotle is going to find an opening frag on the Rodon, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult, noting that none of that utility is there. There's Mikey getting 1, TKY with the answer immediately with a headshot of their own. Here's the grenade, he's going to fall down onto the sky, but peeking into 3 other individual members as the sky falls as well. Neo's going to be able to pick off Blazer. That last one, of course, coming from flank. I'm not sure if they're aware of it just yet, but they're going to be soon.
Is that Blazer or B-Laser? Don't answer me.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that one and say Right falls to Cake, who obviously has the better gun, and it's 11-3. And now you have to win every round, and you force last round, so it's going to be even more difficult for yourself to go ahead and go through that again. I almost feel like in that situation you just play you save and you just play the 11 and keep guns as long as you can. But
you're right, but also I think the math works out that they should have bought because of the amount of force buys they won in the last half. Statistically, they're 66% win rate on force buy rounds.
Take flight.
Right? That's how that works.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I was just saying.
Yeah. You know, don't ever show me the odds, and statistics are just something that's made up to prove a point, I guess. I mean,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's just whatever. Don't ever tell me the odds. Just continue force buying and see what happens. As we get to see an Ares. We get to see the cat Ares as Chipotle finds value with a Spectre, and that the onus is not really great for that. So Dart's going to be taken care of as well by Mikey. And it's going to be up to USF to try to make some impact here, as Wright is able to remove Chipotle guy at least. So a little bit of post-plant utility going to be gone and out of the water, as this spike still hasn't gone down yet.
It's not gone down, but it's also a 4-on-4, so still very winnable. TKY is going to collect the frag, but gets insta-traded with the Guardian. A little bit of information gathering going on here and now with the Owl drone. That doesn't find but 1 player still hanging out. And so now a rotation is possible here. 3-on-3. And there's still enough time to go for that move. 30 seconds remaining. And it will be
30 seconds
a 3-on-3 retake, but at the A site instead of B.
Oh, we haven't seen, USF actually have to retake A. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. Everybody's kind of sussed out the fact that this is going to be a rotate, but they're going to play it together. It's the smarter move anyway, as this is probably going to drop here. We're going to give it to the KJ, going to be one off of that lockdown as well. So if things get hairy, as long as Neo finds one, they should be able to at least drop that lockdown and make that push also more important as they realize they have gun advantage and they just start backing off of this. It's going to be...
Was there utility from the KJ on that spike?
I don't believe so. I think it might have been burned early on B site, so that's going to be interesting with the wall coming up as well here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult as the one spray is going to be found. Right's going to be able to find one. Make it Right's going to find two. Right's going to find three. Right gets a 4K, and USF once again able to win kind of a scuffed by. Is this going to be thrifty? It's not, because enough guns were brought into this round, but definitely at a disadvantage buy, and they're able to swing it through.
Hold on a second. Yep, I did the calculations. The force buy definitely was the right call. Did you hear it or no?
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
I didn't know if it would come through.
I heard a 10 key going through Microsoft Excel into a pivot table of data that we've accumulated, and it turns out that force buy is the right move there. Good job. Good job.
Thank you. All of that to say, though, CPP, they're in a bit of a spot. They have guns. I mean, they got the spike planted. They had won the previous round, and they had won it relatively easily. So all of that is going to end up into a position where they do have the idea to go for this buy to get into position where USF will still be will still be pressured, rather, into this round as well. As soon as they get the spike planted, they could pull out this lockdown.
They could, but B site lockdown definitely isn't as effective as A site lockdown. So we're going to see if this is going to be able to drop. There's the frag on the game store, sacrifices their life for the plant, and you are correct. The Killjoy is going to be popped. My problem with it is you don't have any real establishment until now, as Neo and Mikey are able to find those frags, and now you have that space. Now you have that ability to push everybody off site, and you've bought enough time as Rodon is able to find a frag up through mid.
Didn't necessarily need to take that fight at that point. There's still two players left alive, and TKY hitting shots like that may make it possible, but now they need a 1v2. A big clutch would be the moment as the snake bite goes down, the final one. TKY has the first frag and gets the second. Time is ticking, though. Can get this defuse? I think he has it.
Yeah, he has it. He has it. TKY just plays that perfectly. Don't worry about it. Hey, almost a whole second. Almost a whole second.
You had it.
Yeah. TKY has it too, brother. TKY has it too there. 3 with a bulldog. He's showing up with your gun. And you're questioning if he has it, brother.
You're right. How dare I?
Put some respect on the bulldog and put some respect on that man's name, all right? You've been hyping up the bulldog the entire time. The man gets a 3K, and does he have time?
That's all me,
TKY pulled out the calculator and said, bulldog's the winning move. Also, I have more than 0.8 seconds remaining to defuse the spike. Thank you.
I salute you, TKY. That's on me, king. All right? My fault. The commitment of that lockdown, though, it was a good idea, but TKY just a little bit too swift on those frags. Just a little bit more time just grabbed off that clock. Like we saw, 1 second. That's all that was necessary. A bit ambitious for Mikey, I'd say. As is that plant. CPP, what's going on here, lads?
It is an eco, to be fair, so getting the spike down is the most important thing that you can do there. Get you the extra $300, but TKY just running it down. Oh, TKY, are you going to try to knife? Oh my, you are not doing this right.
One day.
Guys, it's 11-5. Like, this is just not the time for all of this shenanigans.
I understand, like, the BM, the knifing, like the jumping around trying to make them waste the sheriff bullets. I do not understand not trying to knife afterwards and just staring them in the face.
They had already failed. That's what it was.
Oh, fair enough. You can add insult to injury, but they just pull out a stinger and completely mop your head off. I don't think that's ideal either, as Cake's going to take a timeout here.
Yeah, trolling aside, though, it is interesting to see them take a timeout at this juncture. Not saying it's a bad idea, not saying I disagree. What I am saying is that there's like a lot of rounds between now and like, oh no, they're winning. You okay? I don't know what just happened back there. Visionary's falling out of his chair. Prayers up at the chat for that, man. Well, regardless, the question marks for me are, do we need this yet? Cake, feeling yes is the answer. And it's not bad to get a plan out. Hunter's Fury, Viper's Pit, as well as the Res, all coming into this round, so it wouldn't be bad to get an idea of what happened. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm beyond good. At the end of the day, I think this is just a take your breath. Take your breath, take a minute. Don't worry about it. It's still 11-6. We got nothing to worry about. We're vibing. There might have been a loud noise in here, but you know, it was no big deal. It was no big deal. I just stubbed my toe. Love that.
Yeah, that's painful. It feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Well, Cal Poly looking to resurge here. They do seem to like this B side a lot. They've gone to A one time, and they did get retaken on that one time. I don't think it necessarily is correlative, but maybe CPP feeling as such.
I mean, this B site, they're in love with it, and Mikey's in love with spraying with the smoke, and TKY is going to be removed, so that's definitely a plus, as obviously you still have KJ utility, you still have Viper utility to use on this site, as the orb is used to go ahead and deny once again. You kind of have to worry about the space that's been taken, but that space is really taken on A right now. There's no lurk mid. That res is going to come out as well. They're going to try to go ahead and remove somebody for it. TKY is actually going to get spotted. Are you going to be able to get away from this? No, you can't blast back away from that. Cake's going to be able to hit the shot. Great awareness, great way to lift that up. And I mean, you get the res and it's still a 4v4, but you lose somebody again. Is right actually picks up the operator, has the opportunity to swing and just loses this out to Mikey again. So Mikey with 2 picks from the exact same angle, but we're rotating off.
TQI getting hard trolled right there. Gets rezzed and instantly Hunter's Fury. That's got to be tilting. As will that be. Rodan just getting shot through the utility. Toxic screen where? As actually that was a toxic word. I lied. But
enemy remaining.
Shock darts going forward. Chipotle has the confirmation. It's Blazer gone and Shumas. Well, didn't have a chance. Flawless round there for Cal Poly Pomona, and
match point.
This is not only map point, but series and semifinal point.
And look at the buy.
And there's 6 of them.
It's also CECC point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, now you think about it, it's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of points.
Yeah, there's match point, series point, map point, CECC point. The point.
Semifinal point.
Yeah, semifinal point. You know, go on to play Fisher if you're lucky enough point.
Go on to play Fisher if you're unfortunate enough point.
Yeah, there's so many different things this could be, but USF is going to have to pull some magic out of a hat with the buy that they have right now. And of course, it's going to be that default pressure over to B again. There's been a ton of success for CPP right here, and they're fully expecting to see this. And I'm really worried about TKY kind of playing the same location he just got spammed out of last time. Does a little bit better job of falling back. Doesn't mean that they're still going to be safe, as the shock darts are burned already. TKY has not taken any damage out of any of this, so at least they stand 5 strong right now, as the nade is going to go ahead and deny the spike once again. The spray coming through, gonna find a couple of shots, about half health, but nothing too exponential just yet, as USF holds on with enough ability to delay.
And they do have a Hunter's Fury. That's key part, and a showstopper. So there's a lot of plant denial utility available right now. So despite the fact that that wall already went down, there's no plant to be had for the time being. Instead, they're just going to tap on it. Showstopper instantly torn out, and well, you'd have thought maybe they were going to adjust because of that, but no. TKY, just the final bullet on the spray. Cake will finally get one back, but it's at a hefty cost, and the Hunter's Fury goes out, but that's not before an additional 3 players fall down. The Hunter's Fury gets one more, and it's a 2-on-2 for the game potentially on the line.
Oh, right, Sunday, able to get the frag. This is the game on the line right here. Chumas, a stinger. That's all he has to work with. He has a great opportunity right here. There's a lineup over the back. He might be able to get back around this. He just checks his angles. If he grabs the gun, though, he's going to be spotted. And there is the double swing. Just high-low, one crouched. And that is going to be CPP taking down USF to move on to the EACC finals. It's definitely huge. Of course, they got automatic qualification by winning this to CECC as well. It's just an overall win, and they were able to take 2 maps that were, University of South Florida's choices, right? Like USF's choices that they lost, and USF able to pick back one up off of them. It's definitely interesting to kind of see the dichotomy of the map choices not playing into the favor of really either team.
Yeah, I know. The irony is that, and I was going to mention it, but I didn't get a chance to prior to this game. But, now that it's over, 3 out of the 4 maps didn't go to the one who picked that map. It's insanity. But that's often the way it goes sometimes, because especially for maps like Haven and Icebox, those are maps that everybody plays pretty much, especially Haven at this point in the collegiate space. So it just kind of ends up working out in that way. Regardless, huge shout out to the entirety of that CPP roster. The Broncos, they dominated for a couple of those maps. I mean, Haven specifically was incredibly dominant. And then that last map, Icebox. Otherwise, it was very close. And there were some times on both of those maps that there was good moments. But overall, I think individually, they were the better team today.
Well, they certainly were. That's why they came out on top. And a 5-game series doesn't allow the worst team to typically win anyway. Like you can steal a map out of somewhere, but in a 5-game series, it's typically the better team on the day that's going to come out with the win. And today it was CPP. So definitely proud of them. Of course, we're going to do our normal thing here. We're definitely going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get an interview on with, of course, a member of the Broncos so we can kind of break down what we saw, ask them a few questions, give them their shout outs before we call it a night over here tonight. So stick around. You're going to want to see, of course, who we're going to have on the Broncos chat with us. We'll be right back.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise. Oh, and it's going to be what?
Corner judges go for 1, 2, dip. He needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. Collins walks it in.
Toy Boy is going to drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Johnny.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings.
That's so cute. UCF, and it's really cute. I'm gonna move down here. How do we feel? Odds for UCF? What are we thinking?
They got it. No, we got this. We got it. We got it. Go Knights. Charge on.
100%. My friend Nick is behind you. He's gonna record it. Don't look at him. You'll ruin the shot. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Come on. Oh, let's go! Let's go!
My smile's probably really creepy. I was just being weird.
Oh, I love being in the shadows, though. Big shout out to the shadows.
We could interview Dilly just because I think he's handsome. You weren't supposed to hear.
Here's the thing about the event. I'm the greatest that's ever lived.
Literally true. I know him.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me, the first clip is me saying, don't put that in. And then it was the first, cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day 1 of the tournament, but instead we're going to have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot in Grand Finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja Not so much, considered one of the weaker characters in the game. A Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry. For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited. What was it like to not hear my voice for 2 minutes? For 30 seconds, maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm going to start blushing, but I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us? I said, is it bad? She went, no. I'm going to go ahead and take that as a yes. Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down. What do you think is the appropriate face-to-screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how close I sit?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face-to-screen distance for a Valorant player?
I think it's all kind of personal preference. I guess I would consider myself like pretty close when I play because I like to zone in on my crosshair.
It is the second person to say that. It's all about the crosshair. And then what's up with the horizontal keyboard?
I don't know, like it just kind of fits like the form when I'm close to monitor. Like I don't know, it might sound cringy, but I like to like be one with my gun. You know?
No, bro, I feel it. I feel it absolutely. What is going on, everybody? I am here with some UCF fans. How are we feeling about UCF? Let's go! Let's go! We've got a bunch of UCF fans in the crowd right now. UCF, they're up by a single game. They're looking to find their third and possibly final, secure a spot moving forward. Things looking great for them against Northwood here today. This guy's playing Minecraft right now. He keeps double building instead of placing the dirt.
Hello and welcome back to Esports U. You just witnessed a team clinching their berth in the finals of the ECAC conference. Alongside me, of course, Visionary One is Vincent. We just got to see, of course, CPP take down that 3-1 win in this best of 5 over USF. And I got to say, obviously, brought a ton of hype moments, but I don't think anything's really more hype than to talk to somebody themselves who gets to enjoy what a victory feels like. So we're bringing on Mikey. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing phenomenal. You know, we got to cast some great Valorant out of y'all today. Obviously, kind of wanted to ask you, my first question is, the map picks didn't really seem to work out in almost any team's favor except y'all's first one. How do you kind of feel, obviously USF dropping both their maps and then y'all actually picked Lotus and dropped that as well? How does that kind of dynamic, is that going to shift once you get into, you know, the pick bans for the finals, which is also a best of 5, or y'all just trying some stuff out?
I think we've been trying to implement more maps. I think we've been really trying to like not master every map, but at least have some good fundamentals on every map. Just in case the bans don't go our way, we at least can still hold our own.
Well, speaking of holding your own specifically, map number 1 wasn't really your cup of tea. A bit of a struggle, in all honesty, on that raise. But then moving forward throughout the rest of the series to varying degrees of success, from really good to just okay to great, you were playing a phenomenal game. Talk to me about how you were able to bounce back from what was a pretty rough map 1 performance into very good performances in the final 3 maps.
I think the first map was really rough for me. I kind of lost all my confidence. I wasn't really playing like how I usually do. After the game, I kind of had a talk with my teammates, and they're like, it's past you, it's map 2, just reset, and let's have a good game. We can still win it out. And that kind of helped me bounce back and do what I usually do.
Well, I'm going to go back to the map pool conversation as well, because you guys get the privilege of playing one of the top 5 teams in the country with regard to the collegiate Valorant space. That's Fisher. They're a team that touts a 5-map pool. And I talked to the coach, and I'll be honest, they can back it up pretty much. What is that going to look like for you guys? What difficulties that you see going into it, and how do you maybe plan to try and deal with that? Obviously, that's going to be difficult, but talk to me a bit about it.
I think Fisher's a great team, but I think we can play our game. And if the map bans don't go our way, like I said, we've been trying to put in work on every map. It's not every map. We have like a perma ban, but I've been trying to like basically make sure every map is like at least decent for us. We don't want like any map to just be like, oh, if we get picked that map against us, we're gonna lose instantly. We want to have like at least a fighting chance on every map.
Yeah, and kind of bringing it all home, right? Like the ability to have that 5-map pool is obviously difficult. Is y'all said y'all have a permaban, so you already kind of have those stop gaps in place. As far as your match today, though, it really seemed like I just gotta give a shout out to Chipotle, because especially in that map number 1, he was put in situations where there's 2 people shooting at him and he just somehow finds a way to live. Like the man, like, does he use sticky keys? Does he use slippery keys? Like, what is this man doing to stay alive in those scenarios? Because there was like 7 times on the cast, I think, just in map 1, we're like, oh yeah, he should be dead here, and he just somehow gets away with his life and ends up clutching the round.
I think he's been in those scenarios a lot, so he knows how to place himself and how to find the most impact in those scenarios, where he'll get either 1 or maybe even 2, maybe even 3 instead of just like dying to like aggression. So I think it's like really good that he knows how to put himself in those scenarios and win them as well.
Yeah, he clutched a ton of rounds for you guys and really was integral in that map number 1 win, and y'all kind of just rode the wave through. Obviously a little hiccup on Lotus, but in a 5-map pool, it's going to be difficult to win every single one that you're choosing, of course, or every single map that's even there in front of you. So I want to give you guys props for, staying the course, being able to bring it back on Icebox. And on top of that, I just want to give you the opportunity to have a shout out for anybody that's watching at home, or your teammates, your coach, the esports management program for yourselves, obviously enabling you to be in this position in the first place. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
I just want to give a shout out to like my whole team. They're what got us here. We're nothing without all 5 of our members, and our coordinator as well. She's been putting in work, making sure we have scrims and the matches are scheduled in a way where all of us are available to play. And yeah, that's what I give a shout out to.
Very nice. Well, Mikey, we're going to go ahead and let you eat, because like me, you said you hadn't eaten all day. So I've at least had 1 meal today, so I can't complain as much as you, man. Go get some grub. You definitely deserve it. You played a very good game today, and good luck in the finals.
Thank you. Have a nice night, guys.
Thank you, Mikey.
Appreciate it.
Well, that about wraps it here for us, of course. Vincent, I'm going to go ahead and let you have the floor. Anything about the match that you saw that you really wanted to highlight? Was there anything along the sides of the matchup with Fisher that you really want to talk about? Or just, talk in general, man? What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I mean, once again, a great game overall. And it's clear that the work that CPP has been doing to get that map pool in place to make sure that they're not uncomfortable on any map. They did not look uncomfortable on any of the maps we played tonight. They looked very competent on all of them, and we played 4 maps. So I think they're already well on their way to that conversation. And if they're going to beat Fisher, that's how you have to work towards beating Fisher, is you have to be good on every map, because they already are. So I think props there. TKY, shout out in the loss. They had a phenomenal series. Just overall, it was a bit unfortunate. Some of the games were better than others, but it was very much a conversation of where TKY would be, and I felt like they delivered most of the time. Just a little short team play wise there from USF. Other than that, though, a lot of fantastic stuff going on here at Esports U. Tomorrow, ECAC Rocket League semifinals actually going to be going forward, and of course, Visionary, we can't forget that, well, Mikey, alongside the rest of the Bronco Esports squad, they've qualified for the CECC Finals. May Madness headed to Texas, and that's where they could be headed as well. They get to do so. It'll be happening in Esports Stadium Arlington on May 6th and 7th. If you can't be there in person, don't worry. You can catch it all live here at Esports U as well. More information is located over at collegiatesmg.com. Make sure that you check that out. That said, Visionary, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time here at Esports U.
Breaking news.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup here in Boise, Idaho. The Western Regional Qualifier has been up and running all day long. We've got a great team of people scattered out throughout the building that are ready to bring you all the action of the content. We're going to jump over to the player pit with Septilence and get a hear on what's going on over there.
Hello, everybody. My name is Septilence, and not every great game can happen on stream, so a little bit of them happen here in the player pit. We've got UCLA versus UNLV in the lower bracket map 5 control happening right now. Whichever team loses this, unfortunately, goes home this weekend. It is all on the line right here. Capture the energy and the excitement of how much this can mean to these players.
Thank you so much, Septilence. It looks like great things are going on over there, and a lot of us have been spending all day long here in the building, so we want to take a look outside. We're now going to jump over to Septilence with the weather. Thank you so much, Septilence. I, like many other people here at CECC West, have been inside since about 8 o'clock this morning. It was nice when I was out there, but as of right now, I have no clue what the weather's like. Back to you on the desk, Septilence. All right. I guess that's the weather from Septilence. We've got a couple more reporters scattered out around the building. The first one going to be out on stage, getting a great feel for the competitors and the competitive nature that builds at an in-person event like this. Let's take a look at what Septilence has going on stage. Here on the main stage, we have Hawaii versus Oregon in our first streamed Valorant matchup of the weekend. These players, only some are going to get to play on stage, but when you're up there, it creates a whole new world of nerves, dangers, and new opportunities to take down your opponent. Thank you so much, Septilence, for going out and getting that information of what's happening on stage and letting us know which players and teams are having a good or bad time. So this event's all about at the end of the day is the players that are going to walk away with that first place slot. We're going to jump out to Septilence in the audience, who, if the rumors are true, is about to get some breaking news.
It has been chaos here today, Septilence. It has been a very busy day for these players, and Wave Riders from Hawaii are keeping it a very close game on stage, and things are This just in breaking news. We see the University of Hawaii Overwatch team goes 0-2 in pools, and unfortunately, I don't think is going to be able to make it into the bracket. Now that's some crazy breaking news.
Some of the anchors here are a little more well-versed in our job, and others maybe are a little rustier, a little shakier. We're going to throw it over to one of our first-time broadcasters and get a feel about what he's got and his thoughts on this weekend. From what I understand, we have a correspondent somewhere outside. Apparently, he's running a little bit late. Maybe let's jump over to him and see if he's on his way.
They said look for the Septilence news van. I'm going to be so late. What time is... Oh, my coffee! Oh, come on! Oh, man!
Now, collegiate esports is often a place where legends are forged as these players go head-to-head until there is the best of the best left standing. Now, we've gotten a rumor that a pro player has entered the building, and we've got a correspondent with a little more information on that. Septilence, take it away.
You know, I didn't think it was going to be easy, but it was a lot harder than I expected. When you arrive to a somebody named Septilence tournament, you don't think there's going to be a full bracket, but a win is a win, you know what I mean? I'm pretty excited to be taking this baby home.
Now, our team of correspondents was spread throughout the building, but due to the fact there's only so many of us, we could bring you just a taste of what the CECC has to offer. Now, remember, the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup is in Arlington, Texas later this year, and if you want to keep an eye on that, be sure to follow Esports U on all of their social media, all of their channels, including Twitch and Twitter, to stay up to date with what we have to offer. Thank you so much for joining me and my correspondents, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, CECC West, Septilence is in the audience, Septilence is in the pit, Septilence is outside, Septilence is lost, Septilence is sleeping. We gotta get more people on this team. That's crazy. Oh, wow. Just event of all of these, the massive, nope, I hate it. Oh my God. Okay, thin and not, nope, I hate it. Sorry. Commission, nope, screwed it up.
Welcome everybody here to the top 5 plays of the week from Esports U. Clutchkey here to help you bring those top 5 plays. We got a good batch for you this week. Let's start off with play number 5. This one taking us to Valorant. It's the Pioneers of Utica University and the NYIT Bears Team Blue. First map comes to Ascent, and the Bears are trying to retake B-site, but Anchor bringing out the judge, and it's time to put NYT under the gavel.
As NYT, you know, not a whole lot of health on IDK board. They're just going to try to spray up. They find HTO7 actually. And now, Jimmy3, the judge though.
Oh! Anchor sent him to the bottom of the ocean. It does it with 3. Welcome to the Judge Zone.
The judge there making the ruling, and the Pioneers would go on to win Ascent and Pearl. They would take the series over NYIT 2-0. Let's move on to number 4 now, and it's time to head to Summoner's Rift on League of Legends. The setters of Pace University and the Great Danes of Albany are about to throw down in the bottom lane, but for the setters, they don't have a lot of health to work with, so the Great Danes, even a man down in this fight, sniffing out the health bars and taking advantage.
These are low health bars, and Trendemir still got ulti. What can he get out of this one? Ezra's going to try and run away. Super Ben wants to try and at least get one. Dale's going to pick up one. That's two. Super Ben trading against his own. Might it be a triple for Joe? What else can he get to try to run away? Nitro has no health. The Nudia's going to pick that one up. And UA, it looked like it was going against it, but Super Ben comes in and then come away with a huge kill. And
now 2 double kills in that fight in game number 1. And hey, doubles are great, especially when they're wins. Albany would get the series win 2-0. Let's go to some Rocket League action now as we take you to number 3 in the countdown. It's Trine University Thunder taking on the Bruton Parker College Barons. In game 2 of the series, Sino gets bumped at the beginning of this, but then Sino decides to pull out the Uno reverse card and give the Barons a goal.
Center field looks like Sino was bumped, so he can't get that ball follow up quick enough. Perhaps make an opportunity of his own though. Stalls that ball in the air.